In a galaxy far away, from the planet Krypton sent to Atlantis and projected to the Earth Matrix, the Man of Steel. Ladies and gentlemen, Kal-El is back. Kal-El!
That's a heck of an introduction there, Joey. Thanks, man.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm a little bummed out, dude. I found out from one of our listeners that I've been demoted to 9 stones and trespassed off the narrow way, and I'm gonna have to go rewrite my resume, I think.
Bro, that's all hogwash. There's no doubt you are Kal-El from the planet Krypton, son of Emmanuel, sent to the Earth, bro. Good to have you back, my brother. Good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Exactly. Well, it's good to have you back, bro. And there's no doubt that prayers do work, and our prayers to our Father Jesus has definitely delivered you. And I'm glad to have you back, partner. So tonight's topic is the secrets of Saturn and the children of the Black Cube, part 4. And we're just going to hit the ground running as always and get started. You ready, Carl?
Let's do it, brother.
All right, brother. Let's go. All right, first slide. Carl, we're going back to your home world. So I'm going to minimize the screen.
Okay.
And we're going to start here.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bonds of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space. In the 6th dimension, your powers will far exceed those of mortal men. It is forbidden for you to interfere with human history. Rather let your leadership stir others too. In this next year, we shall examine the human heart. It is more fragile than your own. For the past 2 years, as we pass through the flaming turmoil which is the edge of your own galaxy, we will enter the realm of the red Krypton sun, source of your strength and nourishment and cause of our eventual destruction. The planet Krypton, my son. Your home, as it was. This year, we shall examine the various concepts of immortality and their basis in actual fact. The total accumulation of all knowledge spanning the 28 known galaxies is embedded in the crystals which I have sent along with you. Study them well, my son. Over the past 12 years, we have reasoned out logical judgments. By the time we return to the confines of your galaxy, 12 of your years will have passed. For this reason, among others, I have chosen Earth for you. It is now time for you to rejoin your new world and to serve its collective humanity. Live as one of them, Kal-El. To discover where your strength and your power are needed. But always hold in your heart the pride of your special heritage. They can be a great people, Kal-El. They wish to be. They only lack the light to show the way. For this reason, above all, their capacity for good, I have sent them you, my only son.
So Carl, what are your first thoughts since this is your home world? What do you
home world?
What do you think of that clip right there? That Hollywood being our teachers.
I'll tell you what. There's a lot of truth in these things, and you're the one that turned me on to this. And I was friends with a Nazarene preacher one time that actually used these Superman clips to build his sermons around and actually tie it to what actually happened with God sending his son to the world and all that. And I thought it was a little corny then. I said, well, how can you do it? But then you start realizing that, wait a minute, these are full of truth. And I don't know who, we say Hollywood is making these movies, but I don't know who in Hollywood, whether the good, the bad, or the indifferent, are telling us about this.
Well, there's no doubt. And if you hear towards the end of that clip, he just quoted John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. He said that the people just lack the light. And that quotes exactly what the Emerald Tablets say when the sons of light, or they call him in the movie Kal-El, or Adam, or as like we said in the past, the Greeks called him Zeus, the Romans called him Jupiter, and so on and so forth. But yeah, they literally hide our past, like we've said 100 times, and we'll continue to say, they hide our past and sci-fi fantasy right in your face. So having said that, let's go to the next clip here. And Carl, I'm going to minimize the mugs here, and if you would like to read this for the viewers, that would be great, bro.
Okay, the Atlantean projection pyramid, and this is the Atlantean pyramid creates the illusion of realities in time on the earth plane. The soul who oversees this pyramid goes by the frequency, and I'm going to butcher this, but Arlis Kochazel. In the temple of the crystals, the goddess sits, she whose consciousness creates all and everything from within. Through this crystal matrix, a race of evolved humans was born. And when it was time for those souls to once again submerge in the sea of creation to evolve into a new experience, the crystals would echo the harmonics and the souls would remember and align for transition. The Atlantean Pyramid has great mythology about an ancient time when man used his gift of intuition and worked with spirit. It tells of priests and priestesses who used massive crystals and walked with giants and strange creatures on the surface of the planet. The pyramid tells of Thoth, known as Thoth the Atlantean or Tahuti, who ruled the land of Atlantis for thousands of years, known there by many names and descriptions. It is written that before the great civilization of Atlantis fell, I went with my consort and our high priest and priestess in great spaceships to create a new home and a new civilization, that this place would be the land of Chem, known to you as Egypt, that I and others from Atlantis would record and store information in great libraries in a place to be known as the Halls of Amenti, meaning Adamkind, the Halls of Adamkind. Wow.
Exactly. What are your first thoughts on that, bro? From the 12 pyramids of Thoth.
Well, it's not at all what we're taught in Judeo-Christianity sitting on the pew. And there's a lot more to it than what we're told. It's been watered down and milked down, and we're ignorant as to our origins and our purpose, actually, based on organized religion, teachings of organized religion. This kind of clears up a lot of what happened and doesn't really, I'm looking at this and I don't see where it conflicts with the Bible. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it accentuates it and it gives it a deeper context. But having said that, bro, I mean, if I can interject, if you read, here we go, through this crystal matrix, a race of evolved humans or spirit men were born. So if we back up here and notice it says right here, it talks about a crystal matrix. So here we go to the bottom and it speaks of these crystals, massive crystals, and walked with giants. So what does Hollywood have to say about these crystals? And here we're going to go back to Superman again. I think it was the 1980 or 78 edition of it with Christopher Reeve. And let's see what Hollywood says about crystals.
Have you finished?
Nearly. It's the only answer, Lara. If he remains here with us, he will die as surely as we will.
But why Earth, Jura? They're primitives, thousands of years behind us.
He will need that advantage to survive. Their atmosphere will sustain him.
He will defy their gravity.
He will look like one of them.
He won't be one of them.
No. His dense molecular structure will make him strong.
He'll be odd. Different.
He'll be fast. Virtually invulnerable.
Isolated. Alone.
be alone. He will never be alone.
He will never be alone. And what's he holding in his hand there, Carl?
Got a nice looking crystal.
Yes, sir. And they're telling you in these movies, this is a crystal technology with sound frequency, cymatics, harmonics, sounds, light projection, that this is always going to be with his son. And we're going to go to this this other slide here from the beginning. If you be patient with me, let me start this again. Hold on.
Come with me now, my son.
Notice here, this is his 18th birthday, and he's in the Fortress of Solitude using crystal technology. This Jesus figure just literally told you he will never be alone. And now he's about to meet his father through a crystal matrix hologram.
My son. You do not remember me. I am Jor-El. I'm your father.
So here in this Superman movie, Carl, they're telling you again that through what we just read in this crystal matrix hologram, as they say right here in the Pyramids of Thoth, massive crystals and walked with giants. And through this crystal matrix, a race of evolved humans. So his father's very essence, his soul, the memories of his father are imprinted in these crystals for him to bring up in a crystal hologram. And it has like an AI, I guess it would be the modern terminology that we speak in, an AI where he's actually his father's consciousness has been downloaded, and he's literally conversing with this Jor-El Jesus figure. What say you, bro?
Okay, what come to mind? Is there any examples in our Bible, the Bible that we have available to us, of crystal technology or crystals being used? And there are. The New Jerusalem, read the description of New Jerusalem, 12 giant crystals on that thing. The streets are like crystal gold, or what we would call crystallized gold. And then you go back into the Old Testament, when the children of Israel had a problem, they had to ask God a question. The priest wore an ephod, I forget how many different, I think 12 different crystals.
12 with different stones, that's right.
And they would light up and convey the message and answer what the question was to God. So this crystal thing, it's not, again, I have to fight with this kind of stuff with Judeo-Christians, because they say, oh no, that's not in the Bible. But it is in the Bible. It's just a watered down version. But yes, there's crystal technology being explained and talked about in the Bible.
And later on in the show, Carl and I are really going to delve into this and explain further in detail. So having said that, Carl, any other last thoughts before we move on to the next one?
No, sir.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight, so let's get rolling. All right, so here, Carl, let me minimize the mugs again. And you want this one, my brother? Go ahead, take it.
I can do it. It'll help me stay away. Listen now for the echoes of their tones within your mind, and many would search for these records in their quest to remember why they have come here and who they are. And they would feel that they have greater purpose in this timeline and seek to find out what that purpose might be. The Atlantean Pyramid would create tales of the fall of this great civilization as warning to those who would walk the earth at the time of this reading. And humanity would worry about the destruction of its earth home. Fear not, as the souls need only remember their way home into the light. For there is no beginning, nor is there an end. And I, Thoth, the Atlantean, shall now take you to the Pyramid of Atlantis, so you may experience all that you are. And you will understand what happened in the game of light versus darkness, and you remember what you must do.
Wow, bro. That any thoughts on that, my brother? What do you think?
That's some heavy stuff. The soul spark, the life force within it, in this prison shell we're in right now?
The L that dwells within you. Exactly.
Right on. No beginning, no end. So we've always existed with the Father, apparently.
Because light never dies.
There you go.
Exactly.
So, and we're to understand what happened in the game of light versus darkness. And why would we have to understand that? Because in future cycles, like the one we're in now, we're in a battle between light and darkness.
You're absolutely right, bro. And I can't even add anything to that. You spoke that very well, bro. Let's go to the next clip here. All right. A lot of people always ask, the beginning of America, why America was founded. And you see the floodgates open and our enemies are pouring in from all different countries of the earth to destroy the sons and daughters of light. And we're going to get into the hidden history of America's identity in the secret societies. So this is from a clip I pulled up out of my own library collection that I have. And I'm going to play this, and Carl, we'll get your thoughts after this, bro, okay?
Centuries later, Sir Francis Bacon would set down the New Atlantis, a tale which some believe was meant to be a blueprint for the New World, one based upon the teachings of ancient philosophers.
Bacon didn't invent this New Atlantis concept. He was merely the inheritor of it. He was probably the most articulate proponent of it ever in history, but it preceded him.
Bacon believed that the American continent was in fact the site of ancient Atlantis, a concept held by teachers of esoteric wisdom even today.
A New Atlantis really was just America anyway. The east coast of America, if you take a look at the maps by other clairvoyants who have studied Atlantis, indicates that the east coast of America was the west coast of Atlantis.
This country, America, is the remnant of the ancient Atlantis, and so is very susceptible to much of the history of Atlantis, the energies of Atlantis, and some of the actions, for instance, the religion of Atlantis.
According to esoterics, the religion of Atlantis was in fact the mystery school teachings that were embraced by the ancient philosophers. Yet it might be said that none have been as prolific on this subject as 20th century philosopher Manly P. Hall, who wrote such books as The Secret Destiny of America and America's Assignment with Destiny. It was Hall that many Freemasons are said to have called Masonry's greatest philosopher. In 1934, Hall founded the Philosophical Research Society in Los Angeles, California, an organization dedicated to exploring the wisdom of all the world's traditions.
It began in 19...
So, Carl, what are your first thoughts when you hear that?
Well, I tie it back to a promise from our Father that he would have us regather in a land, and the description of the land is a great sea on the east, great sea on the west, divided by great rivers and many mountains. And it seemed like our people gravitated to this point. I don't care what part of Europe, Western Europe you're from, they came here early on. That was the influx of the immigrants that showed up here. And now what are we doing? Just like Atlantis, we're mingling and mixing with the lesser people, and we're allowing those people to come across our borders. And they don't just come bringing a bad culture and bad habits and filthy diseases and stuff. They bring their own gods. And God, that's one thing our God does not want us to do, is have anyone else's gods brought into our land, the land he gave us, the land he promised to us. And we got people welcome with open arms. Oh, we got to hug these people and bring them in and love them. And that's not biblical. We are to be a set apart people and an example for the rest of the world, not to be mongrelized, amalgamated, and wiped out of existence.
Well, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And if you really get into it and you go back, just like Robert Hieronymus was telling you, he told you that America has always been part of Atlantis. He said the East Coast was the West Coast of Atlantis before it went down. And all that means is, like Carl and I have said in the past, and we're going to keep beating this drum, it's Atlantis is nothing but Adam's land, the land of Atum, Atum's island land. And it's an extension of ancient Atlantis, but the people that inhabit, the original inhabitants of the land, who came from, like you said, Europe, Western Europe, and those regions of ancient Caucasia, the land known as Caucasia, as we spoke in our phone conversation, they were the children of light, the sons of light, regathered here in the New Jerusalem, JERUSALEM, in the United States, the 13 colonies, which were the 13 tribes of the sons of light. And it is an extension of Atlantis. And what do I mean by that? Well, the original Atlantis, as we said in the past, where you had the gods as each culture and civilization across the planet Earth, or planet, whatever you want to call it, as Carl likes to call it, they all had writings about these gods that ruled the earth. And as we said in past shows, these gods were the children of Adam in God form. They were known as the giants, not the Nephilim, but the giants, the half light beings, half humanoids. And upon Adam's fall, every culture tells you that the old gods were sent into Sheol. As we've read in the past, the old gods that were sent into Sheol were released on the crucifixion of Jesus over the skull of Golgotha, where Adam's body was buried. And in the future, they were to be regathered in the new Atlantis, or the new Jerusalem. And that's exactly the scenario we're in today. And like you and I said in our phone conversations, that it sure seems like we're coming to the end of the cycle, because now the promised land, or God's holy land, the new Jerusalem, is being invaded by the children of the dragon. What say you, bro?
Yes, we're under siege, and the flood of waters from the mouth of the serpent that the Bible clearly speaks about, that I mean, I've got idiot preachers that thinks a giant snake is going to spit water out of its mouth, and this is something that's going to happen, in some weird time in the future. And some people think it's already happened. It's happening right in front of us, because waters are the people groups, flood of waters to wash away the seed of the woman. We're the seed of the woman. These guys have let us be known, they want to wipe us out. They want vengeance on the Western civilization, which is the white race of Adam. And they're not coming to assimilate and to benefit. They're coming to destroy, to wipe us out. That's what they've been. I mean, this has been coming for quite some time now.
And like you said in the past, if you can't see that we're in the end of a cycle right now, or the beginning phases of the end cycle, then I don't know what to tell you. You've been living under a rock.
You need to turn off the Kardashians and start paying attention.
Exactly, the car creatures, whatever they are.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next. Let's go to the next clip here. All right, Carl, you want to read this, or you want me to take it?
I'll take it, buddy. I'm going to move my mug to the other side here.
Okay.
And anytime you want to read, but just keep.
No, bro. I'm just happy to have you back, bro. Do your thing, man.
All right. Initiation in the Atlantean Pyramid. Atlantis was a great civilization that once existed in the third dimension, which is the dimension we're in now. This grid program was created by the great Atlantean god Tahuti and placed in the Atlantean Pyramid, which rose into the sky. When the Atlantean program ended, many of those souls moved on to other programs, their knowledge and wisdom placed in crystals. These souls were healers, teachers, priests, recorder of knowledge, scientists, astronomers, and artisans. Their knowledge was stored within their genetic coding to be reactivated when the next cycle of time was to come to an end and consciousness would evoke back to source. At that time, they would return to roles similar to those they played in the Atlantean program. Through initiation similar to those in ancient Atlantis, they would awaken their memories, thus understanding who they are and what their roles are now. As each initiate becomes activated, he or she would spend their time awakening the others in a sequential chain of DNA activation. Prepare as you would for meditation. Relax your mind, your body. See before you the high priest Tahuti, who has come to take you on a sacred journey to the ethereal pyramid of Atlantis.
That was beyond deep. And just like we showed earlier, I'm going to jump into this, bro, if you don't mind. Just like we showed at the beginning of the show, upon Carell's return, if you, I'm just playing. if you look into this and what they're telling you, the creators of the movie Superman, they're telling you that this was an advanced race of humans that came from above, the gods, and they possessed a high technology, and I guess their memories of souls or whatever the souls would do on the earth, like it said here, they had different occupation, teachers, priests, said that it was encoded into these crystals and then brought out in their DNA matrix or their DNA signature, in other words. And it said that the Atlantean, let me see, at the time they would return to their roles similar to those they played in the Atlantean program. Notice they're calling it the Atlantean program. In other words, it's some type of computer program to be projected from an ethereal a pyramid above, coming down, connecting with one. I can't do it with my fingers, but as above, so below, and bringing this program out. And it's saying as Atlantis went down, that they would be projected back. And what I think they're saying is into the new Atlantis or the new Jerusalem. And it says that each initiate becomes activated. I hate to use that word, inside joke. He or she would spend their time awakening others in a sequential chain of DNA activation. So if you really dig into this, let me back up here. It says their knowledge was stored within their genetic coding to be reactivated when the next cycle or the new heaven and the new earth would be brought forth, and it would come to an end, and consciousness would evolve back to the source, or to what's the source? They're talking about when the light would return back to our Father Emmanuel, Jesus Christ, but these memories and their experiences that they gained on the earth would be reprogrammed back into a new projection, and that they would resume similar roles that they played in the past. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Carl?
That kind of fits what we were talking about. How I think we are being, I hate to say, recycled through different ages. And we talked the other day about the first age being the golden age, then the silver, the bronze, and now I think, just my perspective is, we're in the Iron Age, which would be the last age of man. And that's just me. That's just the conclusion I've came to.
Well, it's funny. These are other texts that I found. These are not in the 12 pyramids of Thoth. These are another hidden text. And you notice they all have the same reoccurring theme. They keep telling you about this program or this matrix over and over and over again. And I want to touch up on this. It says the grid program was created by the great Atlantean god Tahuti. Tahuti is Thoth, and he was the god of Teotihuacan, if I'm not mistaken, down in Mexico. He was the god down there that ruled over the people there. And it said right here, and placed in the Atlantean pyramid, which rose into the sky. So here you have the earthly pyramids of projection put down upon the earth, facing upward, with an ethereal program outside of this dimension, sending this signal, this broadcast signal down to the earth, congealing this light into physical matter, into this three-dimensional experience that we call life. And I mean, what would you add to that, Carl?
I don't think I can add a whole lot to that, other than just to point out, of course, that the pyramids that we can actually see, touch, feel, and walk on, there's a different narrative as to what their purpose was. And we already know they weren't used to bury pharaohs in, or tombs, or anything like that. And the ability to recreate something like that does not exist in our timeline.
Well, and it's amazing too. Like we always use Hollywood. I have to go back to them over and over, because like I said in the past, they are some of the greatest teachers on the earth when it comes to ancient hidden knowledge, because these are the individuals that have stolen your history and turned them into movie scripts and laugh in your face at your ignorance while they're telling you who and what you are. And you're perceiving these movies as merely entertainment. So I would like to touch on one more thing before we go to the next slide. If you read this, it says, when the Atlantean program ended, many of the souls moved on to other programs, their knowledge and wisdom placed into crystals. So we just said that. Jarrell just told me he held up a crystal in his hand, and he said, you will never be alone. Then we went to another clip where he was 18 years old, Kal-El, and he throws a green crystal and it produces this Atlantean like crystal fortress of solitude. And through this crystal technology, he brings an AI version of his father from a higher dimension downloaded into these crystals. And they're telling you this in a movie. And here we are backing it up with the actual text. And like we said a million times, where do they get the inspiration for these movies? Are they creative geniuses? No, these guys couldn't create a ham sandwich, but here they are making these mind-blowing movies. And how do they do that? Because they have knowledge. The keys of wisdom and knowledge have been taken from you. They have it, and they're making millions of dollars off entertainment. So any last thoughts, Carl, before we move on?
No, sir.
All right, let's go to the next one. We're going to the next slide. Let me do this minimize deal again. All right. I'll take this one, bro, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. I need a break.
Yeah, go ahead. It says, you want me to take a break now, or?
Oh, no, I just need a break from talking.
Oh, I got you, bro.
I've been flapping my gums.
No, you're good, man. The ethereal Atlantean projection pyramid. You follow Tahuti, spiraling through space and time, faster and faster, higher and higher, until you are no longer part of a physical reality or physical reality. Suddenly you stop. You look around and discover that you have ascended to the great halls of the ethereal pyramid of Atlantis. Your physical body has transformed into light. El, you are part of El, Emmanuel, Israel. They're the same, one and the same, the son of light, sons of light. Tahuti, Enoch, guides you to a sacred temple. There, the high priestess awaits you. The time away seems long ago for you, but you will quickly realize that you have only just left. You experience the energies of the high priestess as once you both were. She is surrounded by a crystal matrix. Let me read that again. She is surrounded by a crystal matrix. With a tone, she activates your codes within the matrix, or your DNA, your specific code that makes you you. Within the matrix, you chant in the language of the ancients, sounds, tones, the harmonics of creation. This activates the crystals, creating beams of light. Let me repeat that. This activates the crystals, creating beams of light, which forms a pyramid of light around three. You, Tahuti, Thoth, or Enoch, and the high priestess. She gives you a crystal which contains a frequency that is your signature and will activate your DNA's genetic memory. It is time to remember who you are and what you did in a land that was known as Atlantis, that now you must embrace. As you join the priest and priestess, your crystal activates, and you remember, wait for your message. So I'm going to go to the next clip here. Now, notice I'm going to repeat this from another show and ask yourself again, where did Mr. Nolan come up with this idea? So there, Mr. Nolan is showing you exactly what we just read you. It says, you are surrounded by crystal matrix. With a tone, she activates your codes. You chant the sounds, harmonics of creation. This activates crystals, creating laser beams or beams of light, which forms a pyramid of light around three. You, Tahuti, and the high priestess, his consort. She gives you a crystal which contains a frequency that is your signature. So I don't want to say the word of it, so I'll just give you a symbol. When they wanted to do this to you, they want to interrupt your signature, which is downloaded on this crystal, which contains your frequency. And by taking this alters your frequency. Carl, being very cryptic and careful what we say, what say you, my brother?
Yeah, file 404 not found when they go to look for you on the in the book of life, which yeah, you've got a corrupted file essentially in technology. And if that's been altered, just like a virus on your computer or a glitch in your computer.
And does that mean that you continuously recycle? I mean, think about that. That's, you know, and like I said, I'm not trying to scare anyone. This is just two guys thinking out loud. And having said that, you would have to ask, why would one want to mix with your crystal pyramid frequency? Why would they want to do that?
To keep you from
ascending.
Yes,
exactly. So having said that, we are going to move to the next clip here. We just went through that. Boom. All right, we're going to touch on some old stuff we did, and I'll read this. Carl, it says,
okay,
when you are born into the earth matrix, your memory is wiped. Time has come. Now this is from the if I'm not mistaken, this is from the Haggadah. These are our texts, but they put Hittite Ashkenaz type wording over it to make you think it's their writings, but there are writings that have been usurped. And Carl and I have read this in the past, so I actually mixed a couple of these. So it says, time has come forth for thee to go abroad into the open world. The soul demurs. And this is basically when you come into the earth in the soul form, from the water of the heavens into the water of the sperm, and the seed of life is in the sperm, and you're projected onto the earth through projection points, which would be known, well, let me back up. I would say female projection points of flesh portals of the mother being projected from above down below. So this is what basically this is saying. The soul demurs, why dost thou want to make me go forth into the open world or earth? The angel replies, know that as thou wert formed against thy will, so now thou wilt be born against thy will, and against thy will thou shalt die, and against thy will thou shalt give account of thyself before the King of Kings, Jesus Christ, not Yahweh, Jesus Christ, the Holy One. Blessed be he. But the soul is reluctant to leave her place. Then upon birth, then the angel flips the babe on the nose and extinguishes the light at his or her head. That light is the pineal gland, your memory bank, your biological filter, your brain, and that angel turns that light off. So you come into the earth, your earth life test, and you are under, like Carl said in the past, we are pheasant under glass as our Father observes our lives, seeing how we react to certain scenarios. In other words, being heavenly judged from our Father. Do we choose to do good or evil? So let me continue reading. And brings him forth into the world against his will. Immediately the child forgets all his soul has seen and learned, and he comes into the world crying, for he loses a place of shelter and security and rest. Well, let's go to another part of the text. This is the angel of the night, Layla, carries the sperm before God. The sperm is the genetic carrier into this physical world of light that has been congealed into matter, known as the third dimension. It says that Layla carries the sperm before God, and God decrees what manner of human being shall become of it, whether it shall be male, female, strong, male or female, strong or weak, rich or poor, beautiful or ugly, long or short, fat or thin, and what all of its other qualities shall be. Now, here is your only free will choice that you get in this dualistic duopoly world we live in. Piety, which means honoring our Father, loving our Father, seeking his face, trying your best in this earthly flesh dimension to follow his laws. Piety and wickedness alone are left to the determination of the man or woman himself. What say you, Carl?
Buddy, I'm looking at that being formed against our will, sent into this dimension against our will. And then whether we're going to be rich, poor, female, strong, weak, clay in the potter's hand. The potter makes us whatever kind of vessel he needs for us to be, turns us loose. And like I say, we've got two choices, piety or wickedness. And that is something we have a free will to engage in either one. And that's what we're going to be judged on, apparently.
And I don't think piety or wickedness means pitching a tent in the woods to show the world how incredibly virtuous you are, which is a total fraud and from the Babylonian Talmud. But having said that, let's move on to the next one there, Carl.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we just read to you that your memory is wiped when you come to the earth. Does Hollywood have anything to say that would confirm what we just read?
March 14th, 2077. 5 years since a mandatory memory wipe, and I'm still haunted by these dreams. 77. 5 years since a mandatory memory wipe, and I'm still haunted by these dreams. Victoria and I were assigned together. In 2 weeks, our mission here will be finished and we'll join the others. But the questions I ask, she doesn't. The things I wonder about, she won't. It's been half a century since the scavengers destroyed our moon. Forced to leave their own dying planet, they came to take ours. Without the moon, the Earth was thrown into chaos. Earthquakes toppled cities within hours. Tsunamis wiped out what remained. Then came the invasion. We did what we had to do. We used the nukes. We won the war, but lost the planet. Left it contaminated, most of it uninhabitable. What remained of humanity had to leave the Earth. We built the Tet, our mission control. A temporary space station before the migration to Titan, Saturn's largest moon. Everyone's there now. Well, almost everyone. Until our tour is complete, Vika and I do our job. We protect the hydro rigs, which convert Earth's seawater into fusion energy for the new colony. The survival of humanity depends on it. Thank you for the coffee. Remnants of the scavenger army continue to disrupt the operation. They attack our drones at night and try to kill me during the day. They're still fighting them, but I don't know why. Mission says we have done well. That we are an effective team. Vic is my communications officer. She keeps an eye on me. I handle drone maintenance. The drones watch everything. Vika can't wait to go. Me, I'm not so sure. I can't shake the feeling that Earth, in spite of all that's happened, Earth is still my home.
Carl, having seen that little clip there, notice they tell you that their memory was wiped, a mandatory memory wipe. And then they tell you that the rest of Earth is living on a moon just outside of Saturn, Saturn's moon, Titan. And then, what are the first thoughts that come to your mind when you see Hollywood telling you what you live in?
Well, the recurring theme of the pyramid, the upside down pyramid, I mean that's plays big time in that. Yes, sir. And for the record, I want everybody to know, I'm not all about this memory wipe thing. I don't agree to it, but that's not my choice. I hate that we have our memories wiped and then we're thrown into the mix. Essentially, without security or anything, like you said, as those babies, we come into this world without any knowledge of what we were capable of and what we did in a previous existence. And it's a struggle sometimes, brother.
I would say that's the piety part, being like seeking your Father's face. To seek his face is to seek information about him. I mean, that's how I look at it. I mean,
Okay.
That's just my humble opinion, but it, like you said, that if you notice, they show you at the very end of this, they're showing you a pyramid, an upside down pyramid inside of a pyramid. This pyramid is emitting light projection. And you go back into the clip here. Here you go. Boom. Hold on, let me find it. Here we have above the earth a truncated pyramid. And this movie, this Oblivion, I don't know if you've ever seen this, bro.
I've actually seen that. It's one of the few movies I've actually seen.
This movie is a masterpiece. It is incredible. And of course, it's from their perspective that this pyramid comes and destroys the earth. And Morgan Freeman is the good guy. And we know he's the Satan character. And he's telling, and they demonize the God of this pyramid, which we know is our Father. We know that this is how we came to the earth, according to several different ancient texts that we've uncovered. And here they're showing you in this movie, later in the movie, when this Jack, who is an Adam character, Jack and Vica, which is basically just a Jack and Jill, Adam and Eve, metaphor, but they actually go on board this ship and they find millions of clones of Adam and Eve in cocoons already, basically just asleep, or what would you call the suspended animation? I guess when you're in a
stasis.
Stasis. There you go.
Stasis or suspended animation, either one.
Yeah. And they're inside of this ship, and this ship supposedly came down and destroyed them. But the underlying theme is what the hidden theme that they're telling you is, like this is basically a solar system. But in reality, it's not a solar system we're born into. It's a soul system that we're born into. And they're telling you that the projection point of Saturn is where most of the humans are. In other words, so that's those are not the children of Adam, but the children of Saturn are from that projection point into this Earth matrix. I mean, any thoughts you have on that, Carl?
Yeah, and we know who the head honcho is of Saturn,
exactly,
and who his children are. So that, I mean, hopefully we can say that with, like I say, being cryptic enough not to get in any trouble.
Oh yeah. I mean, no, I don't think most people will get that, but hopefully our viewers will. So yes. Let's go to the next slide here. Hold on. All right, here's a couple of examples of a certain gentleman. I think this guy's name's Doug Benjamin. It was kind of hard to find him because I think he's been wiped off of Google. I couldn't find his website, but I managed to find these pictures of basically this translucent pyramid with this copper pyramid top projecting light DNA crystal technology, as Carl and I did in a previous show, showing you how that we're projected from lower and higher dimensions, projecting our existence. And I found this illustration pretty interesting. What do you think of this, Carl?
Well, I'm looking at some of this technology. We got a Tesla coil, which, you know what happened? Tesla brought this knowledge forth a little bit too soon for his time, and he was basically destroyed for that.
Exactly.
But copper's a heavy player in this stuff, and I'm learning some stuff right now about gardening with copper spiral antennas to bring the energy down into your plants. We'll discuss that one day.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir. I'm actually getting into some of this. I'm getting into orgone energy and this pulling energy out of the ether with copper coils. So this is pretty interesting from what I can see.
Well, here's another example of what you just said. It's basically the same thing, but these were obviously experiments. And like I said, it was very hard to find information on this and dig into the actual experiments. But I think it coincides with our research, bro. It's basically what we're saying, but it's giving you a literal illustration of how this technology works. And we name this fifth dimensional sons of light manifesting through projection portals or projection points into the third dimension. And the gatekeepers, like on Ancient Alien, which I'm not downing the show. I really like the show Ancient Aliens, but they are gatekeepers. And their mission is to keep the perpetual question in your mind. Where do we come from? How's this earth created? Who are the gods? What was Atlantis? In other words, it's a dog chasing his tail, and they never answer the question. And when they do give you very elementary level, examples, or excuse me, or actual answers of these questions, they always tell you that the pyramids around the earth are nothing but power plants to light bulbs. And that's for the low level understanding people that have no idea what it is. And I think Carl and I have brought this out into, no pun intended, but into the light. And we're showing you through this gentleman's work here, an illustration of how this works. What say you, my brother?
Energy and frequency. So let's go back to God. And God said, let there be light. And God said, let this happen. And God said, do you think he actually stood there like I'm sitting there right now with his mouth and said, let there be light? No, he projected a frequency with high energy and caused this to happen. That's how he spoke. He didn't speak like we're speaking right now. I maintain that he projected a frequency, a high energy frequency, basically what we got going on here, and all this stuff happened. That's our way of understanding it. And God spoke and said.
Well, I agree with you. And I think, like on the past show that I just did when you were out, bro, we showed how Christopher Nolan tells you how the earth was actually created. And he used the term the mother boxes, or the tesseract, which is, and a lot of these sci-fi shows, they always talk about the tesseract, or a cube, or magically, at the top of Saturn, there's a cube at the top of Saturn, or a projection point. And they're basically telling you, like Jesus said in the Gnostic text, he said, your universe is inside something, and it gets its fragrance, or like we said, projection from within it. And this pyramid is giving you a perfect illustration of how DNA code from a crystal matrix above in ethereal pyramids are projected into our universe, which is inside of something, which is a literal quote from Jesus himself. And he says that the universe is inside something. What is he talking about? When God spoke this, like you said, this sound into something, it's a heavenly technology into a tesseract. And the tesseract, the three become one, just magically, like the Bible says, and the three are one. And he speaks this through this God technology. And it's basically light particles being congealed on command of his voice through this technology into the tesseract, third dimension tesseract, projected from above, pyramids above, like you said, in through the dome, into these pyramids, this DNA strand, which this is an actual picture. Excuse me, let me back up. And they're showing you how your reality is created. And we're showing you multiple examples in different texts from different time periods explaining your reality. So having said that, any last thoughts, Carl, before we move on?
No, sir.
All right. So would you like to take this one?
Let me focus. That blue on red is a little bit difficult. Okay, I got it.
Let me ask you something. I'm having the same issue with this bar again. Can you see this thing? Okay, I made it go away. There you go, buddy.
Yeah, it went away.
Okay.
Okay. 12 pyramids of Thoth, Pyramid of Peru, Soul, School of Emotion. All right, I'm gonna move it over to the side where I can see it. There is a pyramid in frequency over the Inca ruins of Machu Picchu. It is linked to the Nazca lines, creating a pattern of evolution in design. The soul who creates through this pyramid goes by the frequency Lubelia. Her consciousness speaks to the people of Earth about a time long ago when ancient travels from the stars descended to the surface, creating a landscape in which souls would descend from above to experience. Later to return to her consciousness through her temple. It is within this pyramid that emotions are experienced, ranging from lowest frequency to those of pure light energy. The nature of this pyramid is to keep emotions flowing in that which you experience as formless, waves of energy, which shift within each soul from moment to moment, and the soul shall know all ranges of these emotions, for they are in the matrix and they have come to experience the gamut of them all. And the soul will place in highest esteem the frequency of light, which is creation and contains all emotions in balance. And they will connect it with that part of their being that links to the source of creation, the heart, which expresses what they shall call love and keeps the soul eternal. Sorry about that, buddy. I mean,
no, it's hard to see it. It's hard to see it. I got you, brother.
It was a difficult thing
No,
to see.
you did fine, bro. No, it's fine. The viewers can read this. They can pause in and read it. So what do you get from this? So here we have a pyramid that is projecting waves of energy, emotions down to the souls for them to experience. Bro, it sounds to me a lot like this earth that we live in, this third dimensional earth plane, is basically a school. We're in school right now. And I'm talking like God heavenly school. And what are your thoughts when you hear this, Carl?
Well, apparently, like I said, we're sitting down here for like I'd say this more than boot camp. It's more like a finishing school, what it seems like. I mean, we're here to be honed and polished before we return back to the previous existence.
And then, like my Uncle Tom always used to tell me, he said, Joey, my boy, the hardest steel is forged in the hottest of fires. That's exactly what this sounds like. So I'll take this next one, bro, because I think I did it in the same exact red. I don't know if you can see this one a little better.
That one's a little clearer, yeah. But
you
yes,
want to take it? It's up to you, bro.
I can. And while we're on the subject of the Nazca lines, I studied that long ago when Von Daniken come up with this stuff. I have had several producers approach me about doing shows on treasure hunting and the gold mining and that kind of stuff. I always go to this. I say, drop me off in Nazca, Peru, with a good metal detector and enough water and canned tuna to keep me alive and a film crew. I said, we're going to find some stuff. And none of them will do it. They'll go anywhere in the world, but none of them want to go to the Nazca lines in Peru.
Well, they missed an opportunity. No doubt about that, bro.
I think they're afraid to. I really think they're afraid of what we're going to find. But here we go. 12 pyramids of thought, Pyramid of Peru, Soul School of Emotion. They shall strive for this place of higher emotion. In so doing, they will experience great suffering. Hello, which will help them bring forth higher understanding. And the souls will feel torture and torment and love and compassion. And they will place all emotions into words and deeds and great dramas in which they did act. And great work shall result in the expression of their emotions, guided by the flow of the emotional matrix. And they shall go to this emotional temple within their souls to find answers to riddles of creation. There they will find their answers, not always as their senses have guided, and each soul shall search until it is ready to enter this pyramid. Once entered, it will experience all emotions at one time with understanding far beyond the comprehension of humanity. Each soul shall embrace all emotions within itself. Come with me now to the pyramid of emotion. Let not old fears blind your way. Throw away all concepts of emotion and see the truth in who you are. I will teach you how to find peace and the balance in your soul.
Wow. Wow, bro. That tell me that is not incredible hearing that.
Oh my goodness. I'm looking at this right now, like you're suffering. And then I mean, you would go through every bit of this stuff and you're looking for answers, and the answers are not what you've been taught or what you think they are. And that makes people uncomfortable.
And that's the dark. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I think that's why our people are reluctant to dig for the truth, because the truth is uncomfortable. When you confront the truth, it takes away, it strips you all the way down and takes away everything you stood on your entire life sometimes. And that's a tough thing to happen.
And this is incredible, bro, because when you read these texts, to me, it puts a lot of things in perspective, because I would say there are people out there of our people, and just people in general, that suffer and they go through great ordeals in life. And you can look at it through the lens of I'm a victim, or you can look at it through a different lens and say, no, I'm victorious. I mean, that's always been, I'm not virtue saying, but that's the way I've always looked at any struggle that I've had. Like, you hit rock bottom and you rocket back up to the top. But I find it interesting, though, that they're telling you while you're on the earth, I have to bring my uncle up again. It's what he always used to tell me. he'd say that the hardest steel is forged in the hottest of fire. And what this is saying, it's telling you, in doing so, they will experience great suffering, which will help them bring forth higher understanding. And the souls will feel torture and torment and love and compassion. And they will place all emotions into words and deeds and great dramas in which they did act. And great works shall result in the expression of their emotions, guided by the flow of the emotional matrix. So these emotions and these dramas and these great dramas that you'll play out in your life, if you can overcome them, or the snares of the wicked one, like alcoholism or drugs or porn addiction, whatever thicket that you fall, or snare, as the Bible calls it, that you fall into, if you can overcome that through gnosis and knowledge and understanding of our Father, that great works and understanding will come of the suffering that you went through. You can blast someone and I want you to die. And, you and I have heard, charlatan psychopaths that say things like that. And Carl and I, we don't use information or knowledge as a power base over other human beings. We don't want to control you. We don't want to be your shamans. We want to use wisdom, knowledge, and hidden knowledge, or gnosis, to elevate our people to a greater understanding, just like this text is telling you. And basically at the bottom, when you get in, it says each soul will embrace emotions within itself. And it talks about you'll understand all emotions at a higher level, far beyond anything that you can experience here on the earth. So in other words, like your friend Miss Emily said, she said that when she had her experience, like you told me, that her vision changed and she could say everything. Well, we could apply that to the same thing as far as emotions, because in the heavens, you don't just have these simple emotions that we have here. You have all emotions all at once in a higher dimension, but in a perfect frequency, and all are brought into the same frequency. Not like, here on the earth, you might have hate or you might have love, one higher than the other, and you're all out of whack. But in the heavens, when you go to the higher dimensions, like if you can apply, use that same example that I use of the vision, it would be in the same ballpark of your emotions. Would you agree with that, Carl? What are your thoughts?
I think she actually mentioned that as well. And I have contacted her. She has agreed to try she got a pretty busy schedule, but she's going to try to get on the show with us and relate that experience to us on the camera.
Bro, that would be a privilege and an honor. That would be great if you could bring her on and all the wonderful things you told me about her. Come on, Miss Emily, come on the show. You're more than welcome. So having said that, bro, any last thoughts about this pyramid of love, bro? I wonder what color this thing is, dude. Do you think it's like a floating cloud pyramid? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. If we had to go with a color, what is the color of love? Oh my goodness, I don't know. I don't think about pink.
Oh, God. I hope not, bro. Who knows? Just a little humor there. All right, bro. Going to the next one. All right. We brought up this little illustration here. I mean, so you can visualize what we're speaking of. Hold on, I don't know where to put this, but this, if the viewer wants to pause this and look at it, go for it. We're not really going to jump into this too much. So going to the next one. All right. We're going to give an example. I found this on the internet and researching our reality and speaking of the Tesseract. This is, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but very talented artist. I think Nicky Alice, I guess is his name. This guy's
Nicky
awesome.
Alice. It's actually in the
header there. I see
it's the header. Yes, sir.
My eyes ain't what they used to be, bro. So I'm going to play this, and it's going to give you an example of what Carl and I in the text are saying. A truncated pyramid on the top, one on the bottom, with a cube in the middle. And go ahead and view that. We're going to view this, and Carl, you give me your thoughts. So Carl, looking at that, I mean, just what that brings to my mind is did that not look like a multiverse to you?
A multiverse, and guess what? It fits a description in my mind when I'm looking at that. When it first started, there's a pretty vivid description of the New Jerusalem, how it's laid out, and when it's coming down, crystals and dude, I think New Jerusalem is well, the dimensions are a cube. There's no two ways about it. You look at the dimensions of New Jerusalem, it's a cube. That thing comes down and it's a whole nother world. New Jerusalem is a whole nother world.
And Jesus told us that. He said the universe is inside something.
Yes, sir.
So in that, if you go back a few shows that we did when we did the actual that flat Earth experiment where I got the translucent pyramid and I placed it on that flat plane projecting 4 different one-dimensional images into it. Bro, did that not create at an elementary level an Earth and a moon? I mean, it was literally right there. I mean, imagine God technology billions of years ahead of us.
And you did that yourself, you and your family, with a cell phone program and cutting some clear plastic up.
I couldn't do any of this then if it wasn't for my wife and my daughter.
I'm telling you, dude, you're blessed. Yes, sir.
No, they helped me. But Carl and I brought this illustration of the cube, like he was just saying, as this would be, I guess, an actual description of our universe, what we live in. And they just showed you the only thing missing from this is the truncated pyramids on the inverted upside down pyramid and the one on the bottom, the truncated part fitting into the flat portions of it. But each one of these so-called stars or points, these would be projection points from higher into lower. And we're just giving you an illustration of, or to give the viewer an idea of what the real universe, like you said, the ever expanding universe, and which is happy horse shit. You and I know that. I mean, what's your opinion of this little illustration here, Carl?
Well, it just, like you say, it kind of shows that we are in a cube. Everything exists inside of it, and it projected it into this cube. Nothing at all like the idea that I had based on my education and my religious church background.
Well, it's amazing though. I mean, if you think about it and you look at like in the movies in Hollywood, and in part 3, I brought up a clip from Interstellar. In Interstellar, you can say this is a black hole. What happened in Interstellar, I went back and touched up on it. Well, I hadn't seen it in years. The Earth was in decline, and they're saying BS that they tell, we're running out of this and that, and humanity is going to die. So this astronaut Cooper has to leave the Earth, and an anomaly pops up magically outside of Saturn again.
Imagine.
And it's a black sphere. Okay, they use the color black again. It's a black sphere, which is a black hole. They fly into the black hole, and through the black hole, they come outside of this cube, and he's outside of it, and his ship breaks up, and it shows him flying into the Earth, but from a higher dimension, and he's viewing his daughter from a 5th dimension down into the 3rd. Like your friend Emily said, she could see everything, which is exactly what Adam said. He said, my eyes are flesh. I can't see the angels anymore. What is this flesh body? So he was projected from a higher dimension into a 3rd dimensional flesh body. And we're bringing this up to give the viewer a baseline understanding of what we're speaking of. So any last thoughts on this, Carl? Okay, let's go to the next one, bro. All right. This is Mr. Nolan again, who's my favorite. This is an Inception movie. The mind is the filter, the biological computer that perceives the world inside the 3-dimensional Earth matrix. So I'm going to go ahead and start this.
Got the basic layout. Bookstore, cafe, almost everything else is here too.
Who are the people?
Projections in my subconscious.
Yours?
Yes. Remember, you are the dreamer. You build this world. I am the subject. My mind populates it. You can literally talk to my subconscious. That's one of the ways we extract information from the subject.
How else do you do it?
By creating something secure like a bank vault or a jail. The mind automatically fills it with information it's trying to protect. Understand?
Then you break in and steal it.
Well,
I guess I thought that the dream space would be all about the visual, but it's more about the feel of it. My question is, what happens when you start messing with the physics of it all? Something, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Why are they all looking at me?
Because my subconscious feels that someone else is creating this world. The more you change things, the quicker the projections start to converge on them.
Converge?
They sense the foreign nature of the dreamer. They attack like white blood cells fighting an infection.
Like they're gonna attack us?
No. Just you.
This is great, but I'm telling you, if you keep changing things like this,
Mind telling your subconscious to take it easy?
it's my subconscious. Remember, I can't control it.
Very impressive. I know this bridge. This place is real, isn't it?
Yeah, I cross it every day to get to the college.
Never recreate places from your memory. Always imagine new places.
You gotta draw from stuff you know, right?
Only use details, a street lamp or a phone booth, never entire areas.
Why not?
Because building a dream from your memory is the easiest way to lose your grasp on what's real and what is a dream.
Is that what happened to you?
Listen, this has nothing to do with me, understand?
Is that why you need me to build your dreams?
Get off of me. Back up.
Hey!
Back up!
Tom!
Get off!
Tom! Let me go! Let me go! Tom! Wake me up! Wake me up! Wake me up! Wake me up!
So Carl, what are your thoughts on Mr. Nolan there?
Pretty heavy. That's all I'm going to say, man.
Well, I'd like to read something. If you notice in the movie, basically they're telling you that the mind is the creator of this earth, or the dream state that they were in. So, you know, the gatekeepers of Ancient Aliens and other TV shows like at Gaia, they always, like I said, perpetual question: how do they build this? How do they move these stones? How do they do this? And Nolan's showing you that it's thought projection into the third dimension, that through thought that these buildings, these worlds have been created. And Jesus, Emmanuel, says something very cryptic here. This is Matthew 17:20. It says, "And Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily, verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Who's unto you? He's talking to the sons of light. Go ahead, bro.
So essentially, if we can't make the break from perpetually chasing the question to finding the answer, that's all we're going to be doing is chasing the question. We're going to be distracted by the question itself.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Jesus is telling you, bro, that's a brilliant, exactly. That's why they put it there. They put a mystery in front of you, and then they just ask the questions, but they never answer it. And unless you have eyes to see and ears to hear, and Mr. Nolan is showing you, as in all of his movies, he's showing you how your reality has been created. And in this movie, I don't know if you've ever seen this one. This is another masterpiece.
I have not.
This one's incredible, bro. Please watch this if you ever get a chance.
Okay.
They have a technology where it's another Matrix scenario where you go to sleep and you can, and then you go into the dream world, and these people are interacting and going into each other's dreams. And literally what they were showing you, she's walking in his dream. They're connected, and they take a drug and they knock out, but there's a technology where their minds are connected, and their minds are creating this reality, and she's changing his world. And that's why they attack her like he said they would. But she's walking through the park, and boom, a bridge comes up and columns come up. Notice columns, like we always talk about. And then she grabs a door, and a mirror pulls it back, and there's multiple dimensions. Yes. So it's a multiverse right in your face. And Jesus is telling you, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, or the gnosis or understanding of what you live in and who you are, and he shows it to you, that you can say how do you say to a mountain, move, get out of my way, and the mountain moves, unless it's a projection and you understand that. Now, I haven't mastered that, bro. I can't move a cup without actually grabbing it yet. Right. But I'm just telling you the gist of it, of what they're telling you. So yes, I want to go into this another clip of this movie. So I'm going to minimize this again, and I'm going to start this one, Carl, and you give me your thoughts on this, bro.
When we're asleep, our mind can do almost anything.
Such as?
Well, imagine you're designing a building, right? You consciously create each aspect. But sometimes it feels like it's almost creating itself, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I'm discovering it.
Genuine inspiration, right? Now, in a dream, our mind continuously does this. We create and perceive our world simultaneously, and our mind does this so well that we don't even know what's happening. That allows us to get right in the middle of that process.
How?
By taking over the creating part. Now, this is where I need you. You create the world of the dream. We bring the subject into that dream, and they fill it with their subconscious.
How could I ever acquire enough detail to make them think that it's reality?
Well, dreams, they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something was actually strange. Let me ask you a question. You never really remember the beginning of a dream, do you? You always wind up right in the middle of what's going on.
I guess, yeah.
So how did we end up here?
Well, we just came from the,
Think about it, Ariadne. How did you get here? Where are you right now?
We're dreaming?
You're actually in the middle of the workshop right now, sleeping. This is your first lesson in shared dreaming. Stay calm.
So, Carl, here we have Mr. Nolan again telling you your reality and hiding it in plain sight. What thoughts come to your mind on that little cryptic scene there?
Well, I think we're hampered or impeded by our physical existence until, like, we go to sleep and our conscious is freed up from this reality we're in. And I mean, I'm looking at this thing going, I've had some dreams that, oh my goodness, dude. Just like you said, you're able to go places, you're able to see things, you're able to do stuff that you wouldn't ordinarily do. And if we could learn to not be impeded and held back by the physical, we'd be like Jesus said, you know, the faith of a mustard seed. Say to this mountain, be moved, it will be moved. So I'm guessing, I don't think it would be possible in this reality, in this body, but wouldn't that be great to be able to just transcend this physical and consciously, without the dream, without your mind doing it in a dream, consciously move the mountain?
Well, that's basically, in my opinion, that's a very cryptic verse. Jesus is telling you that you're a son of light, and in the third dimension, your mind is only a filter deciphering this projection that we're in, but it is a test. And you know, we're not pushing, you know, some of these movies, they get weird, like this clip I'm getting ready to show, Vanilla Sky. They show you over and over in these movies, but they kind of push like suicidal thoughts, and that's how you wake up. And we're not pushing that at all, because that's some demonic crap. Remember, that's from their perspective, and you don't get free of anything. You do that, you get punished, and you get sent right back into it. So no one escapes coming to school. It's like, you know, like God's the ultimate truancy officer. I mean, you get sent back, you know, but we're presenting the idea to encourage thought that there's more to us as human beings, as the sons and daughters of light, than what's presented. You know, you go to work, you have a miserable job, blah, 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 you go through life and then you die. I mean, but there's more to it than that. And we're presenting through Hollywood as our teacher, showing you, if you have eyes to see that and ears to hear, that there's more to this reality. And we're just simply presenting our findings to you. So this is another interesting clip right here, Carl. And this was going to be a little lengthy. I might jump through this one, but I want you to see this. They're telling you this is the same common theme that we just saw. And I'm going to play this and you give me your thoughts on this, bro.
I'm not a big fan of heights.
I know. We erased what really happened from your memory.
Erased?
Replaced by a better life. Under these beautiful Monet-like skies. Your mother's favorite. Who followed your every thought.
Hold on, bro. I'm jumping around here a little bit. I'm going to have to clean this up. Hold on a second. I wanted to show the viewer something real fast.
I'm not a big fan of heights.
I know. We erased what really happened from your memory.
Erased?
Replaced by a better life. Under these beautiful...
Notice what's to his right here, Carl. What do you see right there where I'm pointing at?
I see what appears to be a pyramid.
A translucent pyramid on top of the building as they're ascending. So let me continue.
They like skies. Your mother's favorite. A better life because you had Sophia.
Sophia, the divine spark.
Life was sculpted out of the iconography of your youth. An album cover that once moved you.
There are some things that you're not old enough to understand just yet.
A movie you saw once late at night that showed you what a father could be like.
Avant de vous connaître tous les deux, je ne riais jamais. Je faisais des têtes comme ça.
Or what love could be like. This was a kind woman, an individual. More than your equal. You barely knew her in your real life. In your lucid dreams, she was your savior.
What did you erase? What happened in my real life?
Do you really want to know? You woke up on that street, despondent and alone. You shut yourself away for months. You battled to your board, the 7 Dwarfs, for control.
How was Aspen?
In the end, it was Thomas Tipp, your father's friend, the man whose job you saved, who wrenched the company back into your control.
Tom.
You were alone with diminishing physical capabilities. You could barely function. You found us. And you were one of the very first to choose the lucid dream option. And on a day in late December, you gave yourself to us.
A Merry Christmas. Whoa.
Your friend Brian Shelby threw a 3-day memorial. He was a true friend. You were missed, David. It was Sophia who never fully recovered. It was she who somehow knew you best. And like you, she never forgot that one night where real, true love seemed possible. Squandered when you got in the car with Julie Gianni. Consequences, David. It's the little things, isn't it? They often loom largest of all. And that, my friend, is about as close to the secret of life as I'm allowed to do.
I want Sophia back.
Who wouldn't, baby?
So I created everything? I created Julie Gianni to come back? The board to steal my life? I threw myself in prison?
Look, I tried to warn you in the bar. I told you you must exercise control over yourself, that it all depended on your mind. I gave you technical support. I gave you everything. I even gave you a theme song by Paul McCartney, which is very hard material to acquire.
So all I have to do is imagine something. Like if I wanted McCabe to come back right now.
Listen to me. These people are dangerous. We're in trouble. We need to get off this roof now.
Your subconscious did create problems. Your dream turned into a nightmare, and this gentleman was able to uncover the fabric of our work. The glitch has been corrected, and we do apologize.
No, David. I tell you this with my heart and soul. This is a con man. And we're going downstairs, and we're looking for people. Come on.
Take no notice of him. He's not real. He has no real feelings. He's no more real than the image of John Coltrane in your living room.
I'll kill you, you fuck. What do you know about mankind? What do you know about my feelings?
Easy, Doctor. You're a man of peace.
You son of a bitch. I'm an honored psychologist. I have 2 daughters, and I will uncover this hoax with 1/50th of my intellect.
We are now on pause. You're about to return to your lucid dream.
Pause.
With all the upgrades, you won't remember any of this, and nor will you be charged for the technical support. You can continue your dream, or you can choose the world out there if you wish. But it's very different now. People live to be 200 years old. Your face and body can be fixed, of course. You're a very young man at the beginning of his life, but you will enter it with few of the resources you once had, and your money will run out soon. There are no guarantees. You can go into this world if you wish, but remember, even in the future, the sweet is never as sweet without the sour.
Well, how are you doing, Brian?
Living the dream, baby. Living the dream. Hi.
How do I wake up? How do you wake up from any nightmare? The decision is yours.
David, you listen to everything I say now. You were right. This is the Seven Dwarves. They want you to commit suicide, and if you jump, they win.
Take no notice of me, he's not right. And yet you chose this scenario to conquer your last remaining fear. It's been a brilliant journey of self-awakening. Now you've simply got to ask yourself this. What is happiness to you?
Let them out there read my mind.
I'm real.
Look at us. I'm frozen and you're dead.
It's a problem.
I love you. And I can't settle for a dream. Because as great as I imagined you, you were even better.
I'll find you again.
How will I know it's you? What's out there?
In the way someone looks at you. In the way the wind blows on a cool summer day. A laugh you hear somewhere. You'll remember a feeling. And that will be me. I love you. Good morning. It's time for you to wake up.
David. David. We can defend the kingdom together.
Open your eyes, David. You're gonna be fine.
Are you still with me? Sorry, Bill, that was a long one. I had to skip forward a couple times, but what are your thoughts when you see that? And as as a side note, we're telling anyone watching the show, do not jump off a building. That is from their perspective, and you do not want to be a prisoner of the seven dwarves, as they said, which are nothing but the seven archons. So having said that, what are your thoughts on that, Carl?
But I have no thoughts on that. That is so far above anything I've ever seen. It's just to put it in plain simple, that's just too freaking weird for me.
Well, they're telling you exactly what Nolan's saying in the movie Inception. It's this life. I don't want to say it's a dream. Obviously, we're experiencing it but you could attach it to modern day technology, and you could say this is a VR simulation, but a billion times ahead anything, or putting those stupid goggles on your face and doing all this crap. But they're telling you that you're in a dream world, and even in the ancient Gnostic text and other texts, it tells you, they always use the theme as above, so below. And basically we're a projection of a higher dimensional being into this to experience life school. And there's no escape. Everyone has to go through it. And you read in our last show, in those 5 long clips we did, where I just read earlier, about that God sends you to the world against your will, and you have the choice of piety or wickedness. And that's basically, in my opinion, the real free choice, or the only free choice that you have, is, and you're being graded out or monitored by the Most High to find yourself worthy or unworthy. And as the angels are taking the souls, like you read in those texts from the Haggadah, it says that when you ascend or descend into the earth, that if you're found worthy, then you ascend into the higher realms, amongst the sons of light, in this true paradise and real reality. And if you fail, it says that you go to this horrific place. Now, is that horrific place this place being recycled again? I don't know. It's just, we're putting thought out there. And I mean, what do you make from that thought, Carl?
Well, I'm thinking now, what I gather watching this, the music, that kind of music it just creeps me out. I mean, it's abhorrent to me. So I was trying to follow along with this stuff. But what I gather is that based on, I think Jesus said it himself, as a man thinketh in his heart, not in their ticker, not your blood, but as a man thinketh inside, you actually manifest your reality by thinking with your mind.
Yeah, say things as though they will be.
And not, and then we're fighting against this dream world crap that we're in too. I mean, like I say, I go into dreams, and man, completely opposite of anything I would think rationally in a conscious state.
Well, and like we said, we're not telling people what to think when they watch us, but we're giving you things to think about, and hopefully people out there can take this research and go to the next level. And that's what we're just trying to provoke thought, deeper thought, other than
that's what I'd like, is have some of our people watching this take it to the next level, do their research, and then come back with their perspective on this thing, so we can all grow together.
Exactly. Great points, man. Well, having getting out of that, and we're back.
We're back.
That was a good one, bro. Shit. All right.
Yeah.
All right, man. So, well, hold on, I'm gonna edit all this out. So, yes, we're going to get out of that now, out of dream world, and we're going to go into the ancient text, and we're going to describe who the sons of light are and who the sons of Saturn or the children of the black cube are. Now, this is a little blurry, Carl. I don't know if you can read it. You want to take this, brother? Or you want me to get it?
I can actually read this, but yes, sir.
Okay.
Adam's sons of light versus the children of the black cube.
It's from the Emerald Tablets. Sorry.
Emerald Tablets of Thoth, right?
Yes, sir.
Now give I this wisdom. Free may ye be, O man, living in light and in brightness. Turn not thy face from the light. Thy soul dwells in realms of brightness. Ye are a child of the light. Turn thy thoughts inward and not outward. Find thou the light, or the soul within. Know that thou art the master. All else is brought from within. Grow thou to realms of brightness. Hold thou thy thought in the light. And I'm just going to say something here. Take every thought captive. I think that's an earlier version of that. Okay. Know thou art one with the cosmos, a flame and a child of the light. Now to thee give I warning. Let not the thought turn away. Know that the brightness flows through thy body for I. Turn not to the dark, brothers that come from the brothers of black, but keep thine eyes ever lifted, soul in tune with the light. Take ye this wisdom and heed it. Listen to my voice and obey. Follow the pathway to brightness, and thou shalt be one with the way.
Wow, that is very interesting there from Enoch. This is ancient Atlantean Enoch or Thoth speaking. I want to add to the very last sentence, which you just read, John 14:6. It says, Jesus saith unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. So here we see at the bottom, follow the path of light. I am the way, the truth, and the life, or the light of the world. And thou shalt be one with the way. Jesus just told you he is the way. So you will be one with Emmanuel, our Father, the God of light. Here we have another word, a descriptive word here telling you that Jesus was in Adam's land. What say you, Carl?
Yes, sir. And the way, that's what you said, that I'm the way, the truth, and the life. And then remember our buddy Saul, before he became Paul, what was he doing? He was persecuting those that were in the way. He was attacking and trying to sidetrack these people, hauling them into prison and kill them, those that were in the way, until he himself, I maintain a forceful conversion. I mean, the wisdom and knowledge was brought to him and knocked him off the back of his little donkey there, and he got enlightened quickly.
Well, he was taken. I don't mean to interrupt you. He was taken up into the heavens. There's an ancient hidden text called the Apocryphal of Paul, and it tells you the whole story. Just adding on to what you're saying there, bro.
And he alludes to that even in the King, what we're allowed to have in the King James version. He actually alludes to the fact that he was snatched up into in the spirit. He didn't know, or in the flesh, but I think he knew. I think that's them monkeying with the text. I think he knew good and well he was in the spirit and where he'd been taken to.
Exactly, bro. I totally agree. So continuing this theme, let's go to the next slide here. Can you read this one, bro? You see it?
Oh, yes, sir. Dark brothers, the children of the black cube, emerald tablets again. Even as exist among men the dark brothers, so there exist the brothers of light. Antagonists they of the brothers of darkness, seeking to free men from the night. Powers have they, mighty and potent, knowing the law, the planets obey. Work they ever in harmony and order, freeing the man soul from its bondage of night. Secret and hidden walk they also, known not are they to the children of men. Ever have they fought the dark brothers, conquered and conquering time without end. Yet always light shall in the end be master, driving away the darkness of night. I, man, know ye this, always beside thee walk the children of light. Our phone conversation a couple of days, when I said it's like we have been at war with these dark, and I'm going to temper my
children
my
of
language.
Saturn.
We've been at war with these guys since the beginning, and it's like age after age after age. It's a continuing war. Light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train where eventually light is going to win out. But man, it's a struggle dealing with these guys.
And it is these are descriptive terms in the third density right here.
Yes, sir.
Dark and light, and we've said that in past shows, and we're going to kind of skip over that. So let's go to the next slide here. If you look at this slide right here, this is literally the 9/11 memorial site where the two buildings were attacked. And we're not going to get into the whole 9/11 thing, but if you notice what's here, we have symbols of the black cube, as we just showed you on this other slide here. This is the black cube. You start from here, boom, attach the line here, boom, and you have a cube here. So over and over, this theme is all throughout the plane that we live in, planet Earth. And here to the left, we have another illustration of the black cube of Mecca, with all the children of Ishmael and the mixed in with the seed of Cain, worshiping their father. Here, what say you on this, Carl?
Well, I've studied this for a while, and I don't know if you know, there's a piece of what they call a meteorite, a black stone inside of that, that cube.
Yes, sir.
And I think we're going to cover where that came from.
Oh yeah, no doubt, bro, no doubt. So go ahead, continue.
These guys show up, and I'm saying mindless frenzy. They get into a mindless frenzy, and probably every year they have the Hajj. I forget how many people. There's been up to 3,000 at one time trampled to death at this thing. Again, their God is a God of death. So as they're worshiping their God, they're being wiped out by stomping on each other.
Well, you know, that's a good point. I mean, you just taught me something. I hadn't studied the actual people dying there, you know, doing their you know, and I guess their religion, whatever you want to call it. But if you delve into it, you know, these children of Ishmael, like we said, they, you know, if you go back to, you know, biblical sources, it tells you that there were 3 individuals that were rejected. The very first son, or I don't want to call him a son, but the very first person on the earth that was rejected by our Father, Emmanuel in the heavens, was Cain. Yes. And why? Because Cain was a son of this projection here, this black cube projection. He was the son, the literal offspring, like they just said in the clip we just showed, Vanilla Sky, where he said, I want my Sophia back. He's speaking about the light, and we're going to get into Sophia in a later clip, but that's a Gnostic term about talking about the divinity that they claim through their mother's side. But all over the earth, you see these cubes all over the earth, and these cubes are symbolic of Saturn. So but back to the rejection part, I digress. Back to what I was saying earlier. The first one that was rejected was Cain, then Ishmael, and then after Ishmael, as Carl astutely said before, was Esau. And why? Because all these sons, and the only 2 sons of Abraham were Ishmael and actually Esau. They were rejected because they married into the seed line of Cain, which was the seed line of the dragon, and that's why they were rejected by our Father. So, having said that, you have any last thoughts, Carl, on this?
No, I'm looking at when we do these memorials, when we put the black cube, like where the Twin Towers stood, we're basically ceding that ground over to the enemy.
Exactly. Well, that's a great point. Well, sorry, I apologize to the viewer. I mean, I got this off of another guy's website. I can't remember the dude's name, but it's excellent website. And if you notice, he has illustrations of these cubes all over the earth. It's very blurry. It's hard to get the names of them, but they're all across the earth and the major cities. And basically, it's the same thing. It's the black cube is basically it's Satan worship. That's what it is. The black cube symbolizes Saturn, the projection point of dark light energy into this earth matrix, and they're giving you different descriptive different illustrations of these people that worship the devil. And if you look at this son of Cain right here, he's got a black cube on his head. We have the cube over Saturn here. We have the rabbi here wearing the cube over his pineal gland while covering his eyes, and then his left arm, which is symbolic of the left hand path that they have taken. And here you have it looks like a serpent almost wrapped around his arm, but all that means is that this is dark light energy through this projection point here called Saturn into the earth matrix, but this dark light energy congealed into flesh form, and that's what this is symbolized here on the rabbi, his arm right here. Well, on his forehead, he's showing you that the mind is the filter into this third dimensional realm that we live in. And if you look at this illustration, when you go into the cube, the black cube, and you undo the black cube, it comes up with a black cross, the symbol of a black cross, which is this symbol, Vitruvian Man, right here, the hexagram. But they're telling you the actual flesh manifestation from Saturn onto the earth in flesh form. And here they're showing you what this black cube symbolizes. And that is their father, their God, Satan, and they're being congealed into this earth matrix through this dark light energy. What say you, Carl?
I'm looking at this. We watch these guys who hate Jesus, hate your God. That's what they're wearing on their head. And we still got our people wanting to go over and save these people and convert them over to our side, when I think Jesus himself said, nah,
they were already rejected.
Exactly. And I'm gonna point out something to you, that I didn't realize either. I never looked at a picture of Trump Towers, but look at that. We got a gentleman who was actually declared the king of the false state in Palestine while he was the president. And a matter of fact, they got a coin with his picture on it. So look, these cubes are showing. Some of these I haven't seen before. The one, you know, in the various places, but yeah, that is absolutely Satan worship. And when you set that up, you're announcing, you're saying who your God is. I maintain it out of ignorance. Sometimes I would imagine most of our people are doing it out of ignorance. But if you point it out to them, they're going to resist you and fight you on it because they like I said, they think they're doing the right thing.
Well, they've been, they've been brainwashed, but we have to tread lightly on what we say, obviously, because
yes, sir.
We will get, blocked or banned, whatever. So having said that, let's go to the next illustration here. I'm going to minimize this again. And if you see, we have Saturn here. Saturn equals Satan. Saturn, or the tetragrammaton, equals Yahweh. And here we have at the very top, this is a symbol of the tetragrammaton. You draw the line, connect it here. Here you have the cube that they're speaking of. And if you see, here's Mecca again with the stone, with the black stone in it. And this is black congealed light is what this is symbolic of. And they're going counterclockwise around this, emulating Saturn worship. That's what this is. And they tell you that what's oh my God, not Passover. I always have a brain block with this. We spoke about it earlier today, Carl.
Oh, Sabbath.
Yeah,
Shabbat.
on the Sabbath. They tell you the Sabbath day is on this day. When you're more versed as far as the Gregorian calendar and all that about false timelines that we're in, but you and I said on our phone conversation, why would God make that day on Saturday? Why would the Sabbath day be on Saturn or Satan's day or Tetragrammaton day? That makes no sense to me. So
I was hard set on Saturday being the Sabbath until you pointed this out to me. You woke me up to this one.
Well, they tell you in that movie that we just saw, Vanilla Sky. Remember, he said that he wrestled back the company from the seven dwarves. The seven dwarfs, that's a Gnostic term for the seven archons. And the seven archons are the seven spheres from the sun out, basically projection points into the third dimension. They're not what they tell you they are. But I guess the book of Enoch calls them, heavenly spheres, I guess, or whatever you want to call them. But they're living entities, and the Gnostics recognize that, and they bring that to your attention. And what we're showing you here is basically the two illustrations of this Saturn worship being put right in your face. And remember, this group of people, they were rejected by El, the light of this world. And of course, they joined Team Satan because they actually married into this group. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to add to that, Carl?
Yeah, it's like when you get thrown into prison, you got to pick a gang to go with, man. And if you get rejected by the ABs, you got to go with somebody else.
Exactly. Well, having said that, let's go to the next illustration here. Okay, this is found this in the Quran, and it's the fall of Satnael, the black cube, aka the black stone of Mecca, from the Quran. And I'm not, this is redundant, so I'm just putting that there just for the viewer to see. But this illustration in the back, this is actually what is on the cube, the square, the tetragrammaton of Mecca. And inside there's a broken up black stone. And they tell you in the Quran exactly what it is. It says, the messenger of Allah said, the black stone descended from the paradise, or from heaven, or he was thrown out of heaven. And it was more white than milk. Then it was blackened by the sins of the children of Adam. This is another cryptic verse in the Quran, in their book, telling you this is a form of heavenly alchemy. And they're telling you that this white stone was magically turned black by the sins of Adam. Well, first of all, we have to identify who the black stone is. And we just showed you in the previous clip, this is the black stone, the Mecca. This represents their father, Satnael, Satan, and he was known as Yahweh, the God of the desert, as the Sashu people told you, the wanderers of the earth, that in Egyptian hieroglyphs wore yarmulkes on their head. And they brought this Yahweh God during the Second Temple period. They brought him out of the city of Sair, which was Idumea, home of Esau. So
Yes,
we go back here, and sorry to hog this up, Carl. I just want to, because I'll lose the thought. But this stone right here, that's on the, if I'm not mistaken, the east side. I think it's on the east. Are you familiar with that, Carl? Is it on the east side? I think it is. The actual
Buddy,
stone.
I used to have it right on top of my head. I think it is on the east side.
But well, let's dig into this. And Carl, you know from our studies in the past, break this down what the black stone is. Now remember, each one of the L's, they have crowns of glory, and in each one of these crowns in the middle of their forehead, they have stones, just like you said in the middle, certain jewels, stones, crystals that project them in their memory or their very downloaded essence into these stones. And in their crowns of glory, this is who and what their very essence are that have been downloaded. I know that sounds whack, but it's a little out there, but that's exactly what it means. And Carl,
Yeah.
why don't you tell the viewers exactly what this black stone is and how this heavenly alchemy here that they're hiding in this verse, what it actually means?
Okay, and again, I'm looking at, there's something at the end I'm going to alter. I'm a little bit. We're going to read it like it's written, but then I'm going to think say what I think it is. But the black stone descended from the paradise. Who was cast down from paradise or came down to this earth, was in charge of this earth? Was Satnael himself, probably a brilliant, glowing being, white, more white than milk.
Yes, sir.
But then Adam was created, brought to the table, last to the table, but a superior being to all that were created before him. Matter of fact, our buddy, the black stone, was, like you said before, spoken into existence. Adam was actually handmade. God actually laid his hands in there and created and begot Adam by his own hand. Then it was blackened by the sins of the children of Adam. No, sir. I maintain that black stone was blackened by the sins he caused the children of Adam to commit.
Exactly, bro. That's beautifully put, spot on, bro. Continue, man. That's great. You're on a roll, bro.
And I'm just thinking that they altered that to cover him, to blame on the children of Adam when it was him upgrading himself and downgrading Adam. I know Adam fell for the trick. He fell for the deceit. But to be fair to Adam was kind of was at a disadvantage.
It was the last, like you said, the last to the supper table. But as I did in the last show, it tells you in the ancient text, the earth was made for Adam. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, yes, sir. Adam, like I say, earth was made for Adam, was given to Adam. That ticked this gentleman off. And this gentleman has a bag of tricks up his sleeve. And they have a saying in Spain that translated in English says, the devil knows more from being old than he does from being the devil. He'd been around for a long time. He's picked up a lot of stuff that he used against our buddy Adam there.
Say it in Spanish, bro. Go ahead. Break out your Spanish skills. I want to hear it.
El diablo sabe más por ser viejo que por ser el diablo. I think that's the way they say it.
El español es muy bueno.
Yeah, well, I had to learn it. When you're in Spain chasing girls, you got to learn the language. Being a hillbilly from Arkansas and West Virginia, but dude, I got to Germany. I can speak German fluent. I didn't have to speak English in Germany, but then when I went down to the Mediterranean and met my wife, it's like I forgot all my German, and within 6 months I could understand every word that lady was saying to me.
Well, because you're an L, I told you, bro, from Atlantis to the earth. Well, actually from Krypton to Atlantis, and gracing us with that 13 stones, or excuse me, 13 strand DNA.
Wait a minute, am I promoted again? Because I'm gonna fix my resume again.
I told you, bro, you've always been an L. There's
yes,
no
sir.
doubt, bro, no doubt. But bro, you said this spot on. Think about it. I'm going to put my 2 cents. How did the children of Adam caused this stone that was whiter than milk? Remember, let's go to the next. I'm going to go to the next slide and it'll explain exactly where I'm going. Let me minimize this. I'm going to jump on this one, Carl.
Yes, sir.
Put this down. It says Satan is cubed, imprisoned in the tesseract, and placed in a black flesh suit. This is from the books of Adam and Eve, and it explains the real story of what happened to Satan. And you're hearing it in the Quran from the perspective of Saturn or Satan or the Tetragrammaton Yahweh himself. And the book of Adam and Eve is going to tell you exactly what happened. It says, "O Adam, so long as the good angel that was whiter than milk was obedient to me, a bright light rested on him and on his host. But when he transgressed my commandment," what was the commandment? "You shall not mix with my son Adam or Eve. You're a lower class angel. He is of me, and you are not to mix your DNA with his. That's exactly what his commandment was. His forbidden tree was Adam's tree, his family tree, which was a holy tree from our father Emmanuel. So it says, but he transgressed the number one commandment. I deprived him of that bright nature, and he became dark, black, the blackened stone. And when he was in the heavens, in the realms of light, he knew not of darkness. He wasn't black. He was whiter than milk, according to the Quran. But he transgressed and mixed his angel seed, his angelic seed, with the seed of Eve. And I made him fall from heaven upon the earth. And it was this darkness, this black body he was placed in, that came upon him when he was cast down to the earth. Adam sees the devil in his true colors. Then God ordered Satan to show himself to Adam plainly in his own hideous form. But when Adam saw him, he feared and trembled at the sight of him. And God said to Adam, "Look at this devil and his hideous look, and know that it is he who made thee fall from brightness and darkness into darkness, from peace and rest into toil and misery. And look, O Adam, at him who said of himself that he is God. Can God be black?" We are not saying that. We are not giving you an emotional definition of what happened, or in other words, a story of the ancient past. The texts are telling you exactly what happened. And these texts coincide. They're just from two different perspectives. This is from Yahweh's perspective, who is the black cube, and this is the perspective of our Father, El, the true El, the God of light, our Father. Carl, what say you, bro?
Okay, oh my goodness, dude, this is good. This is the main reason that the so-called church fathers removed a lot of these books, including the book of Adam and Eve, and hid them from us, because we're told that Adam and Eve were told not to eat of that special tree of the garden.
Exactly.
But Adam and Eve were also a tree in the garden, and it was prohibited from another tree to taste of that tree. We don't get that whole story. We don't understand that both of these trees got screwed over when they mixed. In other words, Satan got an upgrade, and Adam a downgrade. But all that switched at the cross when Jesus went down to hell and let Adam and his crew, which I maintain was every soul under Adam up to that thief on the cross that died when Jesus was on the cross. All of those guys were set free. And Joey, that's why I'm going to say this now. I think the Judeo-Christian church, when they try to threaten you with hell, and I asked him, I said, did Jesus not say he set the captives free, the keys of death and hell, and led captivity captive? I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, exactly.
Either he did or he didn't. If you believe what he said, he did. Hell is no longer in our program. That was emptied out.
Well, and you're absolutely right. And we discovered that in the past. And bro, you just made an incredible connection. You said it again, and I think we've said this in the past. That's why they took the gospel, these other apocryphal texts and these and they hid them from you. And they give, like we said in the past, the church was not set up to bring you to God. The church is set up to keep you from God and to keep your identity secret, because the enemy, Saturn, Yahweh, Satan, the black cube, they know who you are. You don't know who you are.
Exactly.
And those who control the past, or the records of the past, control the present and the future. Would you agree, Carl?
I agree. And in doing that, they make sure that you're going to perish for lack of knowledge.
And
because
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Because they've taken that key of knowledge and they've hidden it away.
Exactly, bro. And it's I find it to me, this is incredible. When I saw this, I was blown away. And I'm like, you know, bro, I'm always digging into stuff. And I found this in the Quran. And from our studies, if I had not, and you and I had not read the Gospels of Nicodemus or the books of Adam and Eve, we would look at this and we'd be dumbfounded. We'd be lost. Like, what does this even mean? This, you know, so when I'm talking about alchemy, you know, the low level, you know, the low level understanding of earthly alchemy is turning, you know, lead or to transmute a metal into gold. But that's like we said, that's strictly metaphor. And they're speaking right here. This right here is alchemy, but heavenly alchemy is telling you that Satan was thrown out of heaven. And in the beginning, before he fell, he knew not of this darkness, because his angelic form was whiter than milk. Then it was blackened. In other words, God threw him into a black body. And when he was in the heavens, in the realms of light, he was not black. But when he transgressed and mixed his seed and tried to become God by raping Eve and stealing the Sophia, according to the Nag Hammadi text, I made him fall from the heaven upon the earth, and I encased him. I congealed his dark light matter, his white light matter, and congealed it into a black body. And like our Father said, he was thrown out, and his blackness came over him. I mean, there's no other way to put this. We're not attacking anybody because of what you look like. We're simply researching the ancient texts that have been hidden from you, and we are telling you who the sons of light are, who the sons of darkness are, or the children of the black cube, aka Satan, Yahweh. Carl, what say you, my brother?
I think we covered it pretty good, my friend.
All right. Having said that,
like I said, we're not. There's nothing out of hatred, nothing out of emotion. This is just fact, as we're reading from the ancient text.
Well, I'm going to take this one. This is from a gentleman named Carl Gustav Jung. He was a disciple of Freud and the Esau Edomite school of psychology, or social control, of mind control. And basically he's telling you here, he was around a lot of the Esau Edomites that poses the tribe of Judah. And he's telling you right here, he says, in the form of a dove, she, the Sophia. So Mr. Young is well aware of the Gnostic teachings of Jesus and the Essenes. She, Sophia, descended into the water, like we said, the heavenly water, and begot Saturn, who is identical with Yahweh. Let me read that again for all you Yahweh people out there. I'm not attacking you. I'm just telling you there are hidden writings that you have to dig into if you want to know exactly who and what you're praying to. You're the captains of your own ship. You do what you want. I'm not attacking. I'm just bringing this to your attention. He says, and begot Saturn, who is identical with Yahweh. Saturn, as we have already mentioned, is the other sun, the Sol Niger, the black sun of heavenly alchemy. We just read that here. Satan, the black stone, it was thrown out of heaven, and he at one time was a beautiful angel. He was white, but upon his mixing of the heavenly divine line of Adam, he was thrown out of heavens, and he was blackened by his sin of mixing with the children of Adam. This was the tree that God forbid Adam to mix with, this lower rank angel who became the black stone upon the earth. Carl, what are your thoughts on Mr. Carl Gustav Jung, or Young?
Well, he needs to learn how to spell his first name properly with a K instead of a C.
Well, he's not an L, bro.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Come on.
Okay,
Go ahead, bro.
This whole I think, I don't know if you've ever heard the song. There used to be a song, Black Hole Sun, that it was sung. And my studies show that this Saturn is, there's that image that's on Saturn. I know some people that claim they've seen it with telescopic instruments and all, is actually a storm, like a high energy storm, like a constant tornado or hurricane in the shape of that. What is it? What would you call it? We say cube. You can draw the line to make a cube, but what is an octagram or a?
I know what you're saying. You're talking at the heck. Is it a heck? I think it's a hexagram.
Hexagram. Okay, hexagram. That's actually, I mean, that is on Saturn at the pole, at what we would call our North Pole. That's what's on Saturn. So this stuff is going down. I mean, it's happening. Again, our people perish for lack of knowledge, and this has been hidden from us.
Well, bro, and this guy, I urge the viewers to study Mr. Gustav Jung. This guy was literally, I mean, he was in knee deep with our enemies, and he had access to a lot of these ancient texts, I believe, because to me, there's no way that he would understand this. The Sophia, that just means the spark, the divine spark into the heavenly waters and begat Saturn. He's talking about God's spoken creatures into existence, Saturn or Satnael. That's what they called him in the heavens, Satnael. And when he fell, the L was removed for him, and he was turned into Saturn, the black stone. And like we read earlier, it said that your entire experiences or your, I don't want to say your soul, because that's kind of deep, and I really don't want to go down that rabbit trail, but it says that your entire experiences or your soul, I'll say it, I guess, is imprinted, or your experiences in this earth are imprinted into these crystal, or into this crystal technology to be projected into certain programs. So I find it ironic that you have the same group of Ishmaelites mixed with Canaanites that go around a certain part of every year, and they go counterclockwise around this black cube, and like we said earlier, they were rejected. So of course they're in the camp of Saturn, because they married into it, and their light, their L was blocked from them. So, do you have anything to add to that, Carl, before we move on?
I'm just going to say for the listeners that having that L removed from your name or title is very significant. Satnael, now Satan. Israel. Think about that for a minute. Do that. Lay that out like you have before, unless you're going to do that in the future on this thing.
Well, no, we said it before. You're talking about when it's reversed.
Yes, sir.
Well, when it's reversed, it's just it's El Ra-Is, and the true meaning of El Ra-Is is not a geographic location. It's a group of people from a different projection point rather than Saturn. The children of El are not projected through Saturn, like you said, this gaseous cloud that they say, oh, it's a heavenly sphere. And no, it's a projection point into not a solar system, the soul system. So he projects his children from that point. And Israel, or El Ra-Is, just means El is our father, Emmanuel, not Emmanuel, or not Israel. It's Emmanuel, God with us. So it's El Ra, the sun, S-U-N, as the Egyptians call it. And that just means S-O-N, sons. So God's sons of Is, of light, God's sons of light. And that's confirmed in the Dead Sea Scrolls and the War Scroll, and where the sons of Israel are attached to the literal name, God's sons of light.
That's where I wanted you to go. I knew you was going to jump into it.
Well, no, I appreciate you, bro. That's exactly what it means. It does,
yes,
and it's hard for people to disconnect that this group of people in the Middle East that have hijacked that title, and they tell you, and as we've said in the past, they're numerically disqualified from being the children of light, because our Father said, if you can, like you said in the past, if you can count the stars in the sky or the grains of sand on the earth, and many nations, not one, many nations will come of thy loins, and kings will come of thy loins. Well, they're only 1% of the entire, less than 1% of the entire earth population. So that numerically disqualifies them from being the sons of light. And we've said that in the past. And you can tell earlier as we saw the rabbi when he's preaching, they all have the black cube over their pineal gland, which is their projection point or their mind filter that interprets this actual third dimension or third density that we live in. They're telling you that they're the sons of the black cube. They're telling, I don't wear a black cube on my forehead. The only group of people that do that are the rabbis. Would you concur, bro? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I've never seen that as a fashion statement from anybody, other group of people on the planet but them.
Yeah, exactly, bro. So I think we've covered that pretty well, unless you got any other thoughts.
No, sir, we're good.
All right, so we're going to jump into another text here. Let me move us up here. So hold on. You want to. This is from the book, the Children of the Black Cube, and this is from the hidden. I think the books of Moses, and like we said, every single text on the face of the earth have bits and pieces of the truth in it. And Carl and I have done a show on this in the past, but Carl, if you would, bro, take this and run with it, man, and read this for the viewers.
And to thy brethren have I said, and also given commandment, not just said it, but he's made a commandment that they should love one another and that they should choose me, their father. But behold, they are without affection and they hate their own blood. There's a song, they'll know we are Christians by our love, one for another. That's our biggest problem. Our people do not have that love for one for another for the most part. I'm going to quit commenting and we'll go.
No, bro, do your thing, man. Say whatever you want. Go ahead.
And Enoch also beheld the residue of the people which were the sons of Adam, and they were a mixture of all the seed of Adam, save it was the seed of Cain. For the seed of Cain were black and had not place among them.
And here we are giving you another example of another hidden text telling you who the children of the black cube of Saturn are. And Cara, I just want to touch on this part right here. It tells you, and it's correct, I guess translation would read, and Enoch also beheld the residue of the people which were the sons of Adam, or the children of Adam. And they were a mixture of all the seed of Adam mixed with the seed of Cain, for the seed of Cain were black and had not a place amongst them. This, what he's speaking of here, if you go to the hidden books of hidden books of Eden by Rutherford H. Platt, which were the books of Adam and Eve from the Ethiopic text, which is in Africa, it tells you who the children of Cain are. And he's telling you right here what they look like. We're not telling you this. We're not attacking this group of people. There's no love or hate. We're simply bringing our research forward to the audience and telling you this is who the children of Saturn are. And now if you go back to the first slide you read, this is our Father speaking. He said that they should love one another, which we never do, and they should choose me, their Father, Emmanuel, and they are without affection for each other, and they hate their own blood. So back to here, the second text. Oh, excuse me. Let me go back. I hit that by accident. If you go into the books, the Gospels of Adam, or the hidden books of Adam and Eve, there's a portion that we read in the past that there was 100 of the children of Adam that came down from the holy mountain, which was Undal, which is confirmed in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, that they came down and they mixed their seed. The commandment from the Garden of Eden was passed down to them even when they were in the flesh. Do not mix with the seed of Cain. And here we have it in another text in the hidden books of Moses telling you the same exact thing. So Carl, I'm going to take this one if that's okay with you, bro.
Yes, sir.
And the children of the black cube, slide 2, it says, and he beheld Satan, and he had a great chain in his hand, and it veiled the whole face of the earth with darkness. And he looked up and laughed, and his angels rejoiced. And this is our Father speaking. And the fire of my indignation is kindled against them. He's talking about his own sons. And in my hot displeasure, I will send in the floods upon them, for my fierce anger is kindled against them. Carl, in your opinion, break down what you see in this first slide. What do you think, my brother?
All right. I'm trying to word this carefully. And he beheld Satan, and he had a great chain in his hand, and it veiled the whole face of the earth with darkness. His children, his race.
There you go.
They've spread out. They've destroyed civilizations. They've destroyed empires. Anytime they enter an empire, enter a landmass that's civilized, the only thing that can happen once they're in is it falls. Look, Ethiopia, Sudan, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. What's happening right now to what we call Christian Europe? Christian Europe has fallen, that chain of darkness. And this guy must be, again, looking up and laughing, and his angels rejoicing, because it's happening again as we speak.
And bro, you just said something that was so spot on, dude. Right here, he says, he had a great chain in his hand. He's talking about his genetic DNA, black stone chain or light projection onto the earth. And it veiled the whole face of the earth. Or it not the whole face, but this genetic chain or this DNA strand that was projected from former Satnael, who was a white stone, and then he was blackened by the sins or his mixing with Adam. He's telling you that he mixed a good portion of the sons of our father, of our race, and they were mixed, and it was dark. So they were cut off from the heavens. The light was cut off. And the projection point was cut off, because God will not mix his light with this. And that was his number one, very first commandment he gave Adam. Do not mix with the tree of evil of Satan, Satnael, don't mix with it. And he's telling you the demon laughed, and him and his Gregory angels were rejoicing. And so God checkmated him here. Emmanuel checkmated him and sent a flood in it. What say you, bro?
I'll just a thought. I'm gonna ask a question here. He wiped out his people and the offspring of his people, the ones that had mixed. Now I'm sure he called, and this is just me thinking, he called his people back to stand and be held accountable. But what happened to the offspring? That's my question. There's no place found for them. I don't think there was a place found for them anywhere. This is an anomaly that wasn't supposed to happen. What happens to those guys?
Well, it tells you in the book of Enoch. It says that they're disembodied souls that roam the earth outside of our dimension, that we can't see them.
Yes, sir. That's your evil spirits on the earth. Yes, sir. Very okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean that at least, from reading the text, because you have, like I said, all of our history has been hidden from us, and like a giant puzzle, it's been hidden in different text throughout different time periods. And it's very tedious going through all these books and finding these connections. It's hard work. I mean, it's not easy, but I think you and I are exposing a lot of this, and so I mean, what are your thoughts on this second one where he talks about he sends the flood? It says, and you and I, we know there've been many floods, like Plato said, and he got that from Solon, and Solon got it from the high priest of Egypt. What are your thoughts, Carl?
Let's think at a higher level than just water. Would this be the hordes of lesser men that are rolling in on us now to punish us for what we've turned our back on God? That's why we're having this problem. Our borders are open, and they're overrunning us. I'm thinking a higher level of flood, meaning maybe people in this particular thing.
You could be right. Remember, all, like, even with symbols reveal and conceal, and they usually have 6-7 different levels of understandings, so or meaning. So I mean, that very well could be it. But according to a lot of the text, there was a certain flood.
Yes, sir.
And you spotted that even in Egypt, where you said that there are like water lines, I guess, on the Sphinx and the pyramids there. And I think our Father did wipe these. I mean, that's in the Book of the Giants and other hidden texts. It tells you that there. I don't think it was a worldwide flood.
No.
It means what is the Hebrew word that means that place or country?
Erat.
Erats. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, sir.
And I think it was just in that region, and then like we said before, he left only 3 people on the earth, 8 people left of our genetic strain. That's why it tells you in the book of Genesis, it says that Noah was pure in his generations or genetics. He had not mixed with the children of the black cube of Saturn, Yahweh. He hadn't mixed with them. So if you go back into the flood era and you really look at it, like even in the Bible, like we said in the past, it never gives you a physical description of what Noah looked like. Why? It'll tell you he begat him and this one begat that one, but it never tells you what they look like. Well, you go into the Dead Sea Scrolls and the fragments of Noah, it tells you exactly what Noah looked like. It said,
yes,
he was white and he had his Shekinah glory coming out of his eyes. And that's, oh no, that means he was albino. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that he had the light of our Father, Emmanuel, coming through he was a special person that had the genetics of our entire race within him and his 3 sons and their wives to do like the term that you came up with, the reset.
Yes.
Would you agree with that, bro? Or
I agree with that, and also I'm gonna go out on a limb and say there was a worldwide flood, and I've gotten to this argument with the ex-rabbi and a couple other people before, and the flood of Noah wasn't global, but then there was a global flood. Well, when was it? When God said, "Let the waters be separated from the waters," the whole earth was under a global flood. That's why we have evidence of sea shells in the highest mountains in Utah. I've seen them up there. I've climbed some of those mountains and seen seashells at that level, which would say, okay, this is proof that the whole world was flooded. No, it was at one time, but not during Noah's time. It was in that land when it was flooded for a very specific purpose, to wipe out the offspring of an unholy union between God's children and the children of Cain.
Well, not to checkmate you, my brother, but using your logic that you just said earlier, repeat what you just said, where God said, I'm going to separate the waters from the waters. Could that be our Father separating people from people and be separate from one another? Do not mix with them. Could the waters he's speaking of be a people or different groups of people? I mean,
checkmate indeed, dude. That's good. That's very astute.
No, I'm not trying to checkmate you, brother.
No, but I'm saying that's good. No, you're right. You're right. Using that logic, coming back around, that very well could be.
Well, look. I'm going to turn our mugs around again. If you look at the migration patterns of our people from Atlantis, that's where we came from. You go from Atlantis to the island of Undal, which we speculate could be the Canary Islands. You go to the Canary Islands, to Egypt. That's confirmed in the text. From Egypt, we left there and we went into the land of Israel. They named it Israel. It's not it's just a geographic landmass. From there, we go from there into Media. And then from Media, boom, we go to the Caucasus Mountains. Magically, they have this country called Caucasia that you and I spoke about in our phone conversation. Caucasia, Barbaria, Tartaria, all these different lands in that same region. And then magically, we end up in Europe and over the Caucasus Mountains into our southern Russia. Then from southern Russia now into the United States. It seems to me our Father is strategically placing us away from the other peoples to protect his children on the earth, because we were untouchable for a long time because of the distance between continent to continent. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Carl?
Exactly. What we call technology and this transportation revolution, where we can fly and boats and all this stuff, that has really done more to actually hurt us than help us, because it now allows easy access from the sky, from a boat, whatever, for the flood of waters to come to wash us away.
And that's exactly the book of Revelation says that. That's incredible. You bring that point up, bro. So having said that, bro, I if you would, man, I got something here from the books of Adam and Eve.
All right, I'm gonna move us down. Enoch's dream vision. What did Adam look like? Okay. And after this, I saw another dream, and I will show the whole dream to thee, my son. And Enoch lifted up his voice and spake to his son Methuselah. To thee, my son, will I speak. Hear my words. Incline thine ear to the dream vision of thy father. Before I took thy mother Edna, I saw in a vision on my bed, and behold, a bull came forth from the earth, and that bull was white. Adam. And after it came forth a heifer, Eve, and along with this latter came forth two bulls, one of them black, that would be Cain, and the other red, Abel. And that black bull gored or killed the red one and pursued him over the earth. And thereupon I could no longer see that red bull, but that from which resembled and followed him. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, I missed the line. But that black cane bull grew, and that heifer, Lalua, went with him. And I saw that many oxen proceeded from him, which resembled and followed him. He brought forth after his own kind, from what I gather. And that cow, the first one, went from the presence of that first bull in order to seek that red one, but found him not, and lamented with a great lamentation over him, and sought him. And I looked till that first bull came to her and quieted her. And from that time onward, she cried no more. And after that, she bore another white bull, Seth. And after him, she bore many white bulls and cows. And I saw in my sleep that white bull likewise grow and become a great white bull. And from him proceeded many white bulls, and they resembled him. And they began to beget many white bulls, which resembled them, one following the other, even many.
Wow. Here we go again, Carl, in another text. Literal descriptive terms of what Adam looked like, what his wife looked like. What are your thoughts when you read this, my brother? What do you think?
Well, it's clear to me that these prison suits that we're in reflect our glorified bodies as far as what color they are. Obviously, we're set apart in these bodies. The people of the earth, the lesser men, the Enosh, the Canaanites know who to hate, because we stick out like a sore thumb. We bear that because we look like the white bull that we came from.
Well, I think that's a great analogy, bro. And I'm going to dig into this a little bit. If you read this, this is the story of Adam and Eve, and this is going to be a little deep for some of the people, but I'm just connecting dots. I'm not saying this is the holy gospel, what I'm about to say, but if you notice here, it says this is Enoch talking, Thoth, Melchizedek. This is who this is speaking to you, Merlin, different time periods, Saint Germain. This is the teacher, the scribe of God. He's telling you, before I took your mother Edna, I saw in a vision on my bed, and behold, a bull came forth from the earth, and the bull was white. This is Adam. The original Atlantean religion was the worship of the gods. And when Adam was on the earth, when he was placed on, like I read last week from the creation of Adam from the Haggadah, the hidden text, it says that, like we spoke in our phone conversation, the first reset is when the earth was taken from Satan, said he was thrown out of heaven, and then Adam was raised up to paradise in a chariot of fire. This is what it says. And all Egyptian mythology tells you that the god Atum, that was in the last video, Atum was brought to the earth back and forth in what they called the Ben, which was a spaceship in the shape of a pyramid. I'm not saying this. This is all Egyptian history. They literally tell you that these gods, Adam in God form, before he fell and he was placed into a white body on the earth, they're telling you that his symbol, they're telling you, Enoch is telling you this, a bull came forth from the earth, and the bull was white. Okay, so he's getting in. So continuing, says that it says that two bulls came forth afterwards, one black, one red. Well, we know from reading the text that the black bull was Cain, and 2.5 years later, Abel was born. So the heifer they took it out of the book of Enoch. The other heifer that went with this black bull was Lalua. This was his twin sister, so it was a set of twins. They were black, they were half black, half white in the flesh, and this would be your gods that the Egyptians talk of Osiris and Isis. And then 2.5 years later, according to the ancient text, was Abel, and Aclea. And this is also mirrored in the mythology of Zeus. It's the same thing. So here we have the story that the black bull killed the red one and pursued him over the earth. Thereupon he could no longer see the red bull, but the black bull grew, and that heifer, Lulua, his twin sister, went with him. And many oxen proceeded. So this was the race that was started from Satan's children, like we said in the past. And there's always been this struggle, as the books of the Emerald Tablets tell you. There's been a struggle between the sons of darkness, or the black sons, versus the white sons for control of the earth tesseract matrix. And these two groups have always fought each other for power and control over the earth. Now, you and I said in the past that under God's law, that the firstborn received the birthright and the blessings of the mother and father. Correct? You remember that conversation we had?
Yes, sir.
Well, we also said in the past, Carl and I came up with this, that we were thinking that one of Satan's power plays to become a god, or to have his children rule the earth and take control back of the earth, was to impregnate Eve with one of his sons, Cain, that this would be the firstborn of Eve and not Abel, and through the right of the firstborn, that he would gain control of the earth matrix. And so, cementing that control, he killed Abel, his half brother. He killed him and took control. And if you get into Egyptian mythology, it literally tells you that there were a group of old gods that were defeated. From their perspective, they weren't defeated, but they lost control. And the firstborn, Cain, which was Sargon the Horrible, or Osiris and Isis, and they defeated the evil Set, as they describe him. And they say he had red hair, cloven hoof, this demon. They defeated them, and they said that they were first put into a cave, and then they were sentenced to Sheol. Carl, does that ring any bells to you?
Yes, sir. It does. Where did Adam and his children go? They went into that pit, the door blocked, where they couldn't get out until they were rescued, till Jesus came on a rescue mission.
Exactly, bro. And now if going further down into the text, when you read, it says, and that cow, the first one, this is Eve, went down from the presence of the first bull, Adam, in order to seek Abel, but found him not. And she cried with a great lamentation over her, a sadness, and sought after him. And I looked until that first bull came to her. Adam came to her and quieted her. How did he quiet her? He impregnated her. He with the holy seed in the flesh, though. They're not in God form. He's not Aries anymore. He's been taken back up to the heavens, and God is going to bless him with another child. And it said, and from that time onward, she cried no more. And magically, after that, she bore another white bull, Seth, that they tell you in Egyptian mythology. Seth was a redhead, and he was cloven hoof. No, he wasn't. He was one of the most handsome guys on the face of the earth. And after him, she bore many white bulls. This is the beginning, the foundation of the Aryan race. Aryan is just short for Aries, which is another name for Seth, or the Sethians. Carl, what say you, my brother?
Oh, I'm gonna throw something at you. Notice when Eve first shows up, she's a heifer.
Yeah, exactly.
And then later on, she's at that cow.
Exactly.
Yeah, the heifer, unpolluted womb, unbred, young female. And then, I mean, that's right there. I mean, this is farm boy 101. So she came forth as a heifer, unbred, pure. And then what happens? She has two bulls, and she's now a cow. But that's, technically speaking,
a polluted, impure womb. Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Bro, that's awesome, dude. You are truly glowing, and you are an L, bro. There's no doubt.
You got me.
No
I'm truly
doubt, bro. That's
awesome. Hey. I
love it, bro. I love it.
Yes, sir.
So, bro, but do you see how they hide our history? And if you don't dig it, dig it, man. If you don't dig into it and compare it and do a comparative analysis with other texts, you're lost when you read this. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you really have to dig, like our father said, study thyself. I mean, would you agree that? What other thoughts do you have,
Yes, sir.
bro?
You're just as lost reading this as the people who only have the 66 books under the King James. There's a lot of stuff in there that's confusing, and you're lost because, like, what the heck happened here? These ancient texts, once you make the connection and tie them all together, it clears up the mystery to me.
No doubt, bro. But we covered that pretty spot on. Let's go to the next text.
Yes,
we're going to see what Hollywood says about the book of Moses and about the great chain. This is my world. Satan's genetic chain veiled the whole face of the earth. And they tell you, the Wisniewski creatures are going to tell you exactly. And notice the color of his suit right here. So let's start this and I'll get your thoughts after.
Seen this. This is it. This is the end. Yes. You were laying right there, just like that. I stand here, right here, and I'm supposed to say something. I say, everything that has a beginning has an end, Neo. What did I just say? No, this isn't right. This can't be right. Get away from me!
What are you afraid of?
It's a trick!
You were right, Smith. You're always right. It was inevitable.
Is it over? No, it's not fair.
So, Carl, what are your first thoughts that come to mind when you see that?
I'm seeing the battle of good against evil. Now, I've not watched any of these Matrix movies at all, so I have no reference as to what's going on. But what I see, we got good against evil. We've got evil thinking they've won the fight. And the saying, what he said, everything that has a beginning has an end. Evil has a beginning. Satan was created. He has a beginning, but as sons of light, we always existed with the Father. There's no end to us, right?
Exactly. We're the sons of light. Light never dies.
Light never dies. That's what I'm getting out of this.
And bro, what you just said is beautiful, man, because it coincides exactly with what the Emerald Tablets say, but they say it a little different. It says there is no the 12 pyramids of thought. It says there is no beginning, nor is there an end. And remember, everything in Hollywood is their perspective.
Yes, sir.
So he literally just quoted or scrambled the 12 pyramids of thought. And I'm going to break this down, unless you have any other thoughts. I wanted to point out a couple key points here in this clip here. You have any other thoughts, my brother?
No, that's what like I said, that's what I got from it. I mean, just looking at this, and that's the first time I've ever seen that scene right there ever.
Well, like we said, they literally tell you the history of who you are, what you're living in, and they put it as entertainment. And
I need to get to the movies more often, obviously.
No, you watch all this at home, bro. You don't even have to go to the theaters. but anyways, if you notice, this is Neo. He's fighting this virus into the Matrix known as Smith, Agent Smith. And if you notice, he's multiplied himself. All these people used to be different characters. So we just read in the text before this that in the hidden books of Moses that Satan had his genetic chain of black energy projection or dark matter light into this tesseract earth matrix that we live in, that he in the past that he managed to miscegenate God's children out of existence and by infusing or breaking that first commandment again, so blocking our Father. And it said that him and his Gregory angels looked up and laughed. So God checkmated him and flooded their asses. So if you look at at this clip, the Wisniewski creatures are showing you all these projections. And if you notice, they're all wearing black suits. The suit that they're wearing, even though, yes, he's a white guy, but the suits that they're wearing are Saturn projections of like the rabbi was wearing around his left arm, of dark matter congealed light and into this earth matrix, or solid matter into this color representing their father. These are the literal, hold on a second. These are the literal children of Satan. Hold on a second. They are literal projections of Saturn, dark energy light congealed into matter. And this is representing the chain, Satan's genetic chain on the earth, that he literally has altered these different people. They were all different individuals. And what he did in the movie, he comes up and he gets his hand and he sticks it inside their body. And I'll try to find that here on the end of the scene right here. And I'm going to explain exactly what he's doing. So hold on, be patient with me. Here you go, right here.
There you go. That's it.
Okay, so I'm going to play it again. So if you notice right here, what the Wisniewski creatures are showing you, they're showing you that this Saturn, this child of Saturn of the black cube, has this virus. He's got inside the matrix, and he's corrupting every created being, just like we read in the hidden book of Moses. And what he's doing by sticking his hand into his body, he's injecting his DNA, his black Saturn DNA projection, his Blackstone mecha DNA into the one, Neo, which means the one, the chosen one. Neo is just one scrambled. And he's altering his genetic projection. And if you notice right here, what color is he right here, Carl?
Black.
This is black, dark energy. And
Yes, sir.
by him putting his hand inside him, he's done that all across the matrix in the movie. It's basically symbolic of the sex act. And that's how the DNA is projected here in the third dimension from man to woman. And he's showing you right here that Satan, literally, he said the whole face of the earth was blackened. And they're showing you in the Matrix movie exactly how this happens. So this dark light matter has been congealed into a human form inside the Matrix, and it's a copy of himself. So he's another, you can say he's a Satan character, but I always say that Morpheus is the Satan character. But if you notice here, Neo, or the One, he is in another place. He's in the real world, and he's made a deal with the evil God who took over, and he's attached to all these different electrodes, and his mind, the filter of his mind, is being projected into the Matrix. And they're literally telling you the parable of the wheat and the tares from their perspective. And they're telling you right here how the earth is cleansed. Now, if you notice right here, what's that in the middle of his body right there, Carl? What shape is that?
Looks like a cross to me.
That's exactly what it is. It's a cross of light with angelic wings coming out of it. And the entire earth matrix is cleansing the virus with the fire of the, what they call him, the architect in the movie, the great architect. And magically he's a white guy. He looks like Colonel Sanders in a suit, a white suit, an old white guy. And he's this brilliant, architect, and he's a mathematician, and all his calculations and everything he's built in the Matrix is literally his mind and his creation of the earth. And they're showing you here in this Matrix movie, this is the parable of the wheat and the tares, but from their perspective. And the tares are being removed.
Oh, no, it's not fair.
If you notice this part right here, remember the Word of God says that the eye is the window to the soul. And if you notice here, the Wisniewski creatures are showing you that the eyes of this demon are covered in black glass or black crystal. And only through the light of our Father El, this is our Father El, the great architect that they call him in the Matrix, it's crashing through this crystal, this dark crystal, and cleansing the earth matrix of this demon who has like a virus infested the matrix. Trying to show you. If you notice, Neo is sitting, he's in the real world, plugged into the matrix, and he's sitting in with his arms stretched out like a cross. He's literally sacrificing himself, the One, to save the world. That's what they're telling you in the movie, their perspective. His arms stretched out, and look at Agent Smith. His arms are stretched out in the shape of a cross. But this Agent Smith is Neo, who's been absorbed by this dark light energy, Agent Smith or Saturn projection, who injected his DNA genetics into Neo. But Neo is still connected to the great architect, and they're showing you the cross symbol right here. And watch what, and then magically you have a light of cross comes out of his body and cleanses the earth. Notice right here, we have another shape of a cross, and this light energy, all these people right here, these are all the great chain of Satan's genetics, this virus that have infected the matrix, and they're being cleansed by the light of El through the sacrifice of the one, and they're about ready to be wiped out. And then a new matrix at the end of the movie, a new one is projected without the virus inside of it. And there he ended up right there in the cross symbol again. Carl, what say you, my brother? What do you get from that?
Well, I see that, like you say, the tares will be gathered and burned. And once those are out of the way, what is the children of light can shine forth again in our glory once those are out of the way. That's what I'm seeing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bro, that's a great analogy. That's exactly what they're showing you. And I it's just like we said before, Hollywood, let Hollywood be your teacher. If you understand
that new matrix. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
So that new matrix is that new heaven, that new earth coming down and replacing this infected black cube thing that we're in now.
Exactly. There's no doubt. And Hollywood is putting it right in your face. So here we have another illustration of the black cube, the Saturn's hexagon, black cube, black cross. And here it is on top of Saturn. This is exactly what's on Saturn here. You add that Y line to it, his Y chromosome, his ghost DNA that the sub-Saharan Africans cannot find who their progenitor is as far as the father's genetics. And they literally call it the ghost chromosome. And this is the same cube unpacked right here into the human, arms and legs, the human projection shape, or Vitruvian man projection. Carl, what say you, my brother? What do you think about this little illustration here?
Well, I think it clears some things up, and I'm looking. I mean, here's some. Now this is amazing to me that hexagon shape stays on Saturn. It's known to be there. Geometry does not happen like that in nature. I mean, what I'm saying is you just don't. Well, it in a landmass like that. Of course, you've got geometry in plants and in the cells of plants and all that, but that should not be there unless it's some supernatural, which our people refuse to acknowledge the supernatural. Our whole existence is supernatural. God is supernatural. This projection, everything we deal with is supernatural, but they don't want to deal with the supernatural.
Well, and it's staring them right in the face, bro. That's a great analogy. Yeah. Job well done, bro. There's no doubt about it. But I just find it ironic that these shapes and symbols, like Hieronymus tells us, he says they reveal and conceal, and they're a language within themselves. And if you dig into this and you understand, they tell you in a hidden language that we don't read exactly who and what they are. So moving on to the next, this is a small video here. I'm going to play a little bit of this, and it talks about like they just literally said in the Vanilla Sky clip that we played, the 7 dwarves or the 7 lords of the 7 archons. And if you know that, these are the planetary bodies, when in reality, these are nothing but projection points into this earth matrix that we live in. And this is our Father, the lens of the Son, Adam, Adonai, the mirror image, Elohim, Emmanuel, and the light of our Father projected through this, giving life to the earth. So having said that, let's start this. And Carl, you can give me some feedback, bro.
The central idea of Gnosticism was the ascent of the soul through successive stages of being. This doctrine probably originated in the astrolatry of Babylon, with its doctrine of a series of heavens, each under the rulership of a planetary god. The soul must ascend through these heavens and their gates by means of magical passwords delivered to the guardians of the doors. This viewpoint is reminiscent of Egyptian ritual of the dead. The ladder of the worlds upon which souls ascend and descend is described in the Babylonian myth of Tammuz and Ishtar. It appears also in the Poimanders of Hermes Trismegistus, where 7 planetary governors sit upon the 7 concentric circles of the world through which souls ascend and descend. Here likewise is the symbolism of Jacob's ladder, the 9 royal arches of Enoch, and the 7 heavens of the revelations of the dead. The
Let me play
ladder
that
of the
again.
worlds upon which souls ascend and descend is described in the Babylonian myth of Tammuz and Ishtar. It appears also in the Poimanders of Hermes Trismegistus, where 7 planetary governors sit upon the 7 concentric circles of the world through which souls ascend and descend.
He just told you the 7 heavenly bodies are projection points into the earth matrix, hidden in the secret societies and Gnosticism, your very reality. And this gentleman is explaining it to you from the hidden text.
And here likewise is the symbolism of Jacob's ladder, the 9 royal arches of Enoch, and the 7 heavens of the revelations of St. John. The commentaries upon Muhammad's night journey to heaven describe how the Prophet of Islam, after climbing a ladder of golden cords hanging above the Temple of Jerusalem, passed through 7 gates, at each of which stood one of the patriarchs of the Old Testament. There is much in Gnosticism to intrigue the Orientalist. Bardesans, the last of the great Gnostics, may have been influenced by Buddhistic metaphysics. This is particularly evident in that part of the teaching of the cult in which Christ is described descending through the 7 worlds on his way to physical incarnation. Like the Buddha, he ensouls a body on each of the 7 planes, thus literally becoming all things unto all men. The ultimate condition of consciousness to which Gnosticism aspires is also reminiscent of Buddhist doctrine. The soul is finally absorbed into an abstract state perfectly analogous to nirvana, so that the end of existence is the condition of not being. Valentinus the Gnostic, in his vision of the order of creation, wrote, "I behold all things suspended in air by spirit, and I perceive all things wafted by spirit. The flesh I see suspended from soul, but the soul shining out from air, and air depends on ether, and fruits produced from bythos, profundity, and the fetus born from the womb. This is Gnostic emanationism, the birth of all natures from their own superiors, and creation itself emerging from its own cause, the absolute or the profundity." In the simplest arrangement of the Gnostic concept of the Godhead, we find first the universal Logos, he who stood, stands, and will stand. By nature and substance unknowable, he is the incorruptible form who projects from himself an image, and this image ordains all things. From his own eternal soul and imperishable nature, that which abides amidst 3 hypostases, which Simon Magus called incorruptible form, the great thought, and the universal mind, and will stand. By nature and substance unknowable, he is the incorruptible form who projects from himself an image, and this image...
They're telling you there that he is the incorruptible projection into a human form known as Jesus, our Father. Continuing.
Ordains all things. From his own eternal soul and imperishable nature, that which abides amidst 3 hypostases, which Simon Magus called incorruptible form, the great thought, and the universal mind. It is interesting here to note that as many esoteric systems, thought precedes mind, or as the ancients said, the thought conceives the thinker. Among the later Gnostics, the Godhead is represented by 3 potencies in this manner: Anthropos, the man; Anthropos, son of Anthropos, the man, son of the man; Yaldabaoth, the son of chaos. Yaldabaoth, who corresponds to Zeus in Orphic and Platonic metaphysics, is called the Demiurge, or the Lord of the world. The Gnostics believed that it was this demiurge to whom Jesus referred when he spoke of the prince of the world who had nothing in common with him. The demiurge was the personification of matter, the monad of the material sphere, the seed of the world within, which locked the patterns of all generated things. Yaldabaoth gave birth out of himself to 6 sons, who together with their father became the 7 planetary spirits. These were called the 7 archons, or governors, and correspond with the guardians of the world described by Hermes. Their names, according to Origen, are as follows: Yaldabaoth, Saturn; Yao, Jupiter; Sabaoth, Mars; Adonaios, the sun;
Adonaios, the sun, Adam;
Astaphios, Venus; Aileos, Mercury; Oreos, the moon. Here Yaldabaoth becomes the outer boundary of the solar system, the orbit of Saturn within which the other planets exist as embryos in ascending orders of powers. Thus we understand the Greek fable of Saturn devouring his own children.
Carl, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh my goodness, dude, that's a lot to unpack there, brother. But we go back to the souls ascending, 7 different levels of ascension, it seems like. So we again, it goes back to my thoughts that we're thrown into this game over and over again, and each time we're going to school, but there's going to be an ultimate time when it's over with. And we're talking about you have to know the code or the password to get past these 7
planetary
archons.
Bodies. Yeah, archons.
Planetary bodies. But when our soul departs, aren't we escorted by 2 angels through all of these sons of guns straight to the Father, where we bypass, we get out of jail free card essentially.
Well, this is just a Gnostic perspective of it, and I'm not saying that everything the Gnostics say are 100% true. Like he said, Yaldabaoth, I can't even pronounce that. It's like a tongue twister. He said that was Zeus, but that's not true. Zeus was Adonai. So like I said, all these texts have been touched. They're not 100% accurate. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because they correlate with each other, and they kind of go side by side with our research, what we're talking about. And he's telling you that the souls, and this is from Manly P. Hall, he got this from. He's telling you that these souls, that they go through these different projection points into the earth. And what I'm telling you is that he said right here, the sun is Adonai. Adonai is just another word for Adam, or was the heavenly word of our father, Adonai, and his son was Adon or Adam. That's exactly, he was the mirror image of his father. And this light is the projection point of who we are, or basically each one of the different races on the earth come from different projection points. We know where the sons of darkness come from, and we've proven that, and we know our projection point. So as far as where the other ones come from and who fathered those people, or if they were, like our father said, he spoke into existence all the other creations. And then in another text in the Emerald, the 12 Pyramids of Thoth, it says that when the 12 pyramids landed on the earth with 3 creational forces within each one of the pyramids, which each one of the 12 represent one of the 12 sons of light, or Israel, sons of light. It says that they were the ones that projected life forms in all different shapes onto the earth. So wrap your mind around that, bro. So, some of the material conflicts with each other, but it's hard to come up with a specific, yes, this is exactly what it is. This is the pot of gold.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just, again, it raises questions. And again, we know we spend a lot of time chasing the question, but the answer is elusive most of the time.
Well, it could be through different cycles of time. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, we've read in the past that there are 12 gates with each one of the sons of light. Israel means light, sons of light, and each one of those sons are at the gates. And, so these projection points could be different phases, like going through school from kindergarten all the way all through high school, and I mean, if we look at life on the earth as a school, it could be different projection points of understanding, or each one of these planetary bodies could represent different cycles of time. Or if these are the sons of the Most High, like Mercury, they're giving them names and all this, and the 7 archons, or these could be the sons of the Most High. And I've read in text before, in other texts, where it says that each one of the angels that are in the heavens, like Michael, Gabriel, Uriel. It says that each one of them at certain time points and certain cycles, they were sent into the earth and had to go through this test, and they were given children unto them, and exactly what's happening to us right now. So I know that's a little deep. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I had a really good friend of mine suggest a book, Many Lives, Many Masters, and it's a secular, basically goes along with this, a secular explanation of that. You cycle through, and each time, if you don't learn anything, you're right back into, the hellhole, the pit. And as you learn, your soul elevates and ascends. And eventually, again, it's a secular view, but you ascend up to the masters. The masters pulling the strings and putting you through this to, like your uncle said, put you through the fire and create the best steel he can get.
Exactly. Well, if you read the Emerald Tablets, it tells you that the angels, the three messengers, are talking to man, which is Adam, and he's telling him that that's where I got that from. It said that they are their older brethren, and they had already been through this test. And like we read, the soul is created, and God said that he created the hall of souls for just that reason. That's why you were created and forced into this, and you're put here through the fire to see if you're found worthy or unworthy. I mean, that's just putting out thought there. I mean, what would you like to tack onto that? What do you think?
That's it, bro. I mean, I've got. I think I've done as much as I can do with this right now.
All right, bro. So we're getting close to the end, my brother. I'm going to go ahead and give this over to Carell here. Carl, you want to read this part right here?
Yes, sir. Saturn and the children of the Black Cube. Saturn is the projection point or portal of dark light congealed into physical matter upon the earth. Control of the Tesseract was taken from Satan and given to Adam. Satan then rebelled and was defeated by the children of light, along with Michael, the archangel, and the guardians of the heavens, God's angels. After his defeat, he was cubed and imprisoned inside of the Tesseract and placed in the lower levels of earth.
Bro, is that not literally what we just read in the other text? Did we literally just say that?
Yes, sir.
Bro, in the Quran literally tells you that this angel, they call him a stone, he was white as milk, but then he was blackened by the sins of Adam. No, they were his sin trying to obtain the godhood and mixing with God's children. And he had the same exact commandment given to him: thou shalt not mix with my children, blah, blah, blah. Now that's been hidden from us, but through our research, we even in the books of Adam and Eve, well, actually, let me go back. The books of Adam and Eve actually tell you that. I forgot about that, just popped in my head, but they literally tell you that. And then through Mecca and what the rabbi's wearing on his head, the rabbi's literally wearing a representation of Mecca on his over his pineal gland. He's letting the world know that I am a child of the literal of the black stone. That's what he's telling you. The dark angel. So let's go to the next one, and I'm going to take this one, bro. It says, "Is Israel or El Ra'is equals sons or God's sons of light? God's sons of light are projected through the sun, S-U-N or S-O-N. The sun is our projection point, the light emanating from our Father, Jesus Christ, from the higher dimensions into the earth plane and third dimension." John 8:12, then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. Carl, any comments on this short little paragraph here he just put forth?
No, I mean, he's the light of the world, and we are God's sons of light, Israel.
Did you not know ye are gods? Yeah, exactly. Did you not know ye are gods, but you will die as men? It is appointed for man or the sons of Adam to die once and then be judged. So going to the next clip. All right. We are the God. This is from Manly P. Hall. I found this interesting in his writings. We are the gods of the atoms that make up ourselves, but we are also the atoms of the gods that make up the universe. Carl, he's putting it right in your face. Our history is hidden in the secret societies. That's why they are secret. These are God's sons hidden in the field. What say you, man?
I think you nailed that, my friend. There's nothing I can add to that.
So in other words, we are God's sons from Adam, or through Adam. Adam is the son of God, Luke 3:38, that make up ourselves, but we are also the atoms, the pixels of light, whatever you want to call them, of the gods in God form that make up the universe. Bro, think about that. So like Jesus said, the universe is inside something. And the sons of the Most High God, the sons of light, saw the earth and the people in their bondage from an outside source, Satan,
Yes,
the black stone. So having said that, we're kind of trying to jump a little quicker here. I found this in a book called if I kill this pronunciation here, forgive me, the Upanishads, the Vedic Sanskrit, and it literally mirrors what we're saying. And it's another hidden text that tell you that this guy, Zeus, is really Adam, surrounded by the eagle with, let me reduce this here, with the scepter of power right here in his hand. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if this is one of the Capitol buildings. I have to do a little research on that. But in the Upanishads, it says, a circle of gold, unveil it, O God, of light, that I who love the true may see, O life-giving son, Adam, offspring of the Lord of creation, seer of the heavens. Damn, I can't see that. Seer of the heaven, spread thy light and withdraw thy blinding splendor, that I may behold thy radiant form. Carl, how deep is that, bro?
And look where it came from. It didn't come from ancient Greece. It came from what we call the subcontinent today, the
Vedic text from India.
The Vedic text, and look at the illustration to the right. That's not. I mean, that's our guy sitting there. I mean, that's one of us.
I believe that this is a representation of Adam. There's no doubt. They call him Zeus, but we've already connected who Zeus was, and the Romans called him, if I'm not mistaken, Jupiter. But this is in the Vedic text. The Aryans wrote this, not the current people that live in India. The Aryans wrote this book, these texts, and Aryan is just the root word of the god Ares, and Ares is Seth. And these were the sons of Seth, the Sethians, that wrote these texts. And they're literally telling you, oh, life-giving son, above, as above, so below, the light projection of our Father, the lens of the sun, emitting the rays of the light through his son, Adam, the offspring. He's the son of God. And Adam was the son, the offspring of the Lord of creation, or our Father, Jesus Christ, Emmanuel, seer of the heavens. What do you make from that, Carl?
I make that this story was across the planet and known by many groups of people. I can see that already. And it tells the same story, whether it's the Vedic text or the books of Adam and Eve or the Enoch, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. The story is consistent. And it actually, I think the story spans not just geographic location, but Earth ages. I mean, we're talking about the book of the Emerald Books of Thoth has to be spanned across our last ice age, and how many more ages before that. But that last ice age we had 14-some thousand years ago, that survived that to get to us. Now think about how important that is, and the significance of that.
Bro, that you're spot on. And I don't know why I keep a solitary seer of the heaven. I couldn't see that word. It basically tells you that this Adam, like you said in another text, is telling you the same story. And we said this in the past. If you notice, all these texts have been found literally in the same migrational pattern of our people, out of Atlantis into Egypt. And magically we had the Library of Alexandria burned down by our enemy because they didn't want you to know these things. And then from Egypt into Ethiopia, so on and so forth. And they've dug things up. There's the Silver Scroll, there's the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Nag Hammadi text. and they basically, from the perspective of the people writing them, are telling you the same story. Would you agree?
I agree. And this burning of libraries. Now, this is another twist. We know, well, my studies show that our buddy Columbus was a crypto of our enemy. You know, he was one of them. What's the first thing they did when they got into the Mayan kingdom? They burned the Mayan library.
Of course.
Again, this whole burning library things is a common theme across that our enemy likes to do to rob us of access to any kind of writings that would help us.
Bro, and you just said something I covered in the last show. If you reverse the name Maya, it's I am, A-Y-A-M. That's just their pronunciation of their god, Adam. That's okay. the caste system in God form before his fall. It literally hit Adam and his sons ruled the entire earth. These were the gods. And you literally just said that. So any trace of Adam, and remember, different civilizations call them different things, but any trace of our race that ruled the earth, which they tell you today is white supremacy, this boogeyman that's behind the shadows or the curtains that you can't, the boogeyman, white supremacy, they have literally blacked out and they've hidden this history from you that, and like I said in the last show, they've demoted Adam to literally mythology. Oh, it never really happened. These people were on drugs. They were all crazy. They did ayahuasca or something, and they imagined this. But there's only one God. It's Saturn. And they wear the cube on their head. And this is the Old Testament God where they, rip kids to shreds and slaughter their animals and this. And basically, like what you said, like we said earlier, those who control the past or history control the present and the future. So Carl and I are going to end it tonight with this last clip, and we're going to get a little thought, and we're going to wrap it up, bro. So let me minimize this, Carl, and then we'll end the show, bro.
Yeah, I'm starting to wane a little bit here, but
stored in memory.
You're fine, my brother. Hold on, let me start.
I have been stored in memory for God knows how long, and no one has given me a second thought. I was created as a plaything, but they made me too well. I became self-aware. I am alive.
That's not possible.
Has a way been found to allow me to leave the confines of this holodeck world?
Leave the holodeck? No, of course not. You can only exist in here.
And leave me here trapped in a world I know to be nothing but illusion.
Although objects appear solid on the holodeck, in the real world, they have no substance. Professor, I ask you to believe me. If you step out of that door, you will cease to exist.
If I am nothing more than a computer simulation, then very little will have been lost. Mind over matter. Cogito ergo sum. I think. Therefore I am.
But 5 hours is not enough time.
I'm not so sure. A deadline has a wonderful way of concentrating the mind.
Open shuttle bay doors.
This is so beautiful.
Indeed, my dear. It is a wondrous sight.
In fact, the program is continuing to run even now inside that cube. This enhancement module contains enough active memory to provide them with experiences for a lifetime. They will live their lives and never know any difference. But who knows? Our reality may be very much like theirs, and all this might just be an elaborate simulation running inside a little device sitting on someone's table.
There you go. Dude.
Goodness, brother. They put it right in your face, don't they, bro?
Oh, I'm telling you, my friend, that's pretty much what we just talked about. It exists, the universe exists inside of something.
So, I mean, any last thoughts, Corey? Because this has been a really long one, and I know you're probably tired just like I am.
Yeah, I'm tired. It's just excessive blood loss. I'm still a little anemic, so I apologize for yawning throughout the presentation, but I'm starting to get tired. But yeah, this has been exciting, and dude, it's got me fired up. My last thoughts are just this covers. I mean, this is in our face. This is what I think is going on.
It's the same reoccurring theme over and over with those with eyes to see and ears to hear. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining Carl and I tonight. And we really appreciate the support that we get from you. We love you all, and we thank you so much for always watching our shows. May Jesus bless all of you. And remember, Emmanuel is the light of the world, and he is with us. God bless all. Carl, any last thoughts?
That's it. God bless every one of you. Appreciate the prayers, and I appreciate the folks that do support us. Thank you so much.
All right. Good night.